Hot coffee. San Andreas. With the day wearing on, I let out a badly hidden yawn as I leave the cafeteria. I clutch my bag tightly as I walk, both from the cold and trying not to take up too much space given all the people milling about. I can't help but eavesdrop on the conversations around me as I walk, the building humming with activity. This is Diego's house. Is this Diego's house? I don't know about that. I don't know if I would trust Diego to pay a mortgage. Yeah, and the final... Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy? Eileen gets ultra copped, but, like, understandable in this town, right? Drink. One conversation from the groups idling about catches my ear. The chatter between some girls about their plans to be with their families again for the holidays. It makes me excited for Christmas all over again. Oh, yeah. The very start of the SGDQ run, when he is... when he gets arrested while on fire. Perfect. As I push through the heavy door and step outside, I wonder if Eileen would be as eager. The fact she doesn't get on with her parents is a worry, but surely they can't be too bad if they're paying for her to live in such a place. For all I enjoy Christmas, it doesn't sound like Eileen has much reason to. A sudden vibration from my pocket grabs my attention, my hand instinctively diving in to pluck my phone out. She hasn't admitted it, but I think Eileen's enjoying playing with her new toy. I quickly text her an agreement and hit send as I step off the stairs, dodging a student I nearly bump into as I do. If only I had an extra set of eyes so I could use this while walking more easily. Heading towards the cafe, I muse on how normal things still feel. I'm happy for us being together, of course, yet life goes on. She enters my thoughts more and more these days, but schoolwork, chores around home, and the club don't stop. One thing has changed though. I feel more sure of myself than ever. Knowing what my own feelings are is oddly liberating. Oh yeah, ultra copping is really good, especially if you get ultra copped by while you're on a motorcycle, because like truly it's like there's nothing protecting you from the ultra cop. The ultra cop just murders you on the spot. It's quite something. The rush of warmth as I step through the door makes my shoulders slump in relief. Thank goodness for the interior heating being cranked right up. It doesn't take long to notice Eileen sitting alone at a table with her coat and scarf in her lap, coolly staring out the window to pass the time. Walking up, I notice not one, but two coffees sitting on the table before her. Hi, Eileen. Is someone else with you? Eileen's apathetic expression barely changes as she turns to see me sit before her. Oh, that's right. They have that on the GTA Marathon channel. What a good emote. What a do we know who originally made the Ultra Cop emote? Is very good. I mean, just with the nice Vice City colors and everything. I'm a little disappointed, but I know her well enough by now to expect it. She's not the type to show her emotions easily. The second's for you. You helped me out earlier with life drawing, so I wanted to return the favor. It's fine, you don't need to repay me. So that debt was still lingering on her mind, huh? Now that she's bought it for me, though, I suppose I can't exactly say no. The coffee proves too hot as I bring it near my mouth, so I settle for blowing on it a bit. How's your day been? Good, I mean, normal, I guess. I might think everything's still normal, but my nerves around Eileen haven't quite settled yet. We've only been together a matter of days. I gingerly take a sip to calm myself down before continuing. I did that just for the benefit of anyone who needed gingerly really really emphasize there. I know some of y'all are out there. Physics was good. Kind of basic right now, but I think we're going to get to some interesting stuff next year. So what are you doing? Trying to stay awake mainly. What a day. Yare, yare. When I took a physics minor, I think I had to take some physics classes because of because I was electrical engineering major. So obviously I took most of my stuff from the electrical engineering department, but I did have to take, I think because I had AP credit, I only had to take one physics class from the physics department at my school. But it was garbage because it was like an intro to quantum physics, and the professor was, I remember specifically the worst thing the professor did was, or one of the bad things was like right after one of the exams, the first 5 minutes of the next class, he was like, I see that some students have forgotten how to spell learning, or I forgot how to spell learn, and then he wrote the word memorization on the board. The guy was an asshole. Like, honestly, if I ever saw him again, I would probably just yell obscenities at him because it's what he deserves. Caprice, you're getting too good at this. I just awkwardly smile. As I do, my eyes drift to the side after noticing a sharply dressed, familiar figure breeze into the cafe and up to the counter. Eileen follows my gaze, an eyebrow lifting. Oh, it's that mechanic girl. Oh yeah, ultra copping is just like a rite of passage. I mean, let me see. All right. Let me see which one this is. I assume it's got to be a good one.
I appreciate that. You ever feel like a cabbage trapped in a person's body?
Look at this baby.
You know.
Oh, is he gonna get? Oh no.
Not usually.
Oh no.
Most of my days go by without me feeling like I'm a cabbage.
Oh no.
Body, but I respect the hustle, you know.
Ooh. Got him. Yeah, I feel like it happens a lot to people on their bikes, the ultra cop thing, but that's a really good one. Yeah, the way you see him zoom across is so good. I also really like there's sometimes you get the ultra cop where the pathing takes them through the building. Like I remember there's a few clips where like people are getting on the moped next to Ken Rosenberg's office, and you see like the cop like warp through Ken's office straight to the moped. It's so good. She's appalling with names. She's Millie. You should at least remember who fixed your car. Did you want to talk to her or something? You keep looking at her. Well, I don't want to annoy her. She might be busy. I barely know her anyway. Eileen looks at me a moment, unimpressed. I used every excuse in the book to not bother Millie too. Then again, I suppose that's the problem. Hey, Millie. I shrink in my seat at Eileen's casual calling out across the cafe, taken completely off guard. Millie turns towards the source of her name, giving her usual calm smile upon recognizing us. See, it's not that hard. This is a good opportunity to know her better. Millie takes her coffee as the barista slides it across the counter before strolling over and daintily taking a seat at our table. Wait. Her name changes with her outfit color, her primary color. Interesting. Good afternoon, Allison, Eileen. Afternoon. Welcome to Friday. We spent a lot of time on things. Finally so, yes. Any plans for the weekend? Eileen and I exchange a brief glance. Both of us are looking forward to plans we made for Saturday, but there still is the day after. Depends on the weather. I was thinking of heading out to the mountains with Wallace if it's not too bad. As Eileen takes a long drink of her coffee, the majestic mountain ranges and foothills around the city float to mind. They'd be freezing cold this time of year, but she seems to be made of stern stuff. I hadn't taken her to be the outdoorsy type, though. That sounds nice. Hiking? Eileen shakes her head as she sets down her cup. We bought some permits for deer hunting. Deer hunting? As in killing them? She stares at me for a moment before looking downward, trying to make sense of the words. It takes an awfully long time for her to formulate a response. Well, we don't pet them. Wallace taught me how to shoot down at a range, and I take a loner whenever we head out. So that's what Wallace gets up to outside the writing club. I did wonder about that. It's nice that they found a way to bond as friends. But to think of a big, proud deer lying dead on the grass. You do know how meat goes from an animal into a pretty little package at the supermarket, don't you? Of course I do, but I wouldn't want to personally involve myself at that level. Is that the point of a big day out for them? I have to admit that I'm a little jealous of how they share this whole little world, but I don't think I could ever be a part of it. Millie reads the room quickly as I take another sip of my coffee. Any plans yourself, Allison? Nothing so exciting, just shopping for groceries. Sounds like my weekend plans. I'm the only one of my roommates with a car, so it's easiest if I do the groceries myself. Speaking of roommates, what are your thoughts on this new club of Caprices? At first I thought it was just a diversion, but she really does want her art club to work out. She's talked a lot about you two as well, actually. Eileen and I look to each other in concern, Millie offering no further explanation beyond an indulgent smile. For all I tease her, I am sincerely glad to see Caprice so happy. She shines brightest when she has something to work on. It's nice to see Millie care so much. They strike me as caring for each other as more than roommates, almost sisters or such. While I still feel the familiar pangs of homesickness from time to time, I'm finally seeing that sometimes family is more than who you grew up with. We all have people around to support us and help in what we set ourselves to doing. A ping from Millie's phone rings out, Eileen and I going silent as she hastily takes it from her coat pocket. The resigned frown spreading on her face shows it's not good news. Noticing our concerned expressions, she soon moves to allay our worries. Sorry, I have to go. Affairs in my own club need attention. Sometimes I wonder why I do this to myself. I ask myself that question all the time. Take it easy. Take care in the snow. It's starting to pile up. I'll make sure to. See you. Oh, she's doing the evil villain fingers thing again. She's the villain. God damn it. Probably going off to do villain stuff right now. The two of us wave her off. Millie quickly doubling back to fetch her still full cup and taking what the villains don't have roommates. Wait, well, explain Arkham Asylum. All the villains are roommates with each other. Checkmate. A brief silence ensues between the two of us as we sip at our own, the quiet chatter of other students and staff at the cafe providing background noise as we do. Sorry for being so weird about the hunting, that is. I was shooting my mouth off. Forgot you liked animals and that sort of thing. I didn't take you for liking the great outdoors. Oh, Shiz is crying because Shiz asserted that villains don't have roommates. And I said that all the villains in Arkham Asylum are roommates with each other, and that was my counterpoint. It'd be nice to take a trip somewhere with Eileen, to the mountains or wherever else, seeing the places she likes to go and how it influences her art. Probably not to go hunting, though. Millie's nice. Keeping the writing club going sounds like a lot of work. See, could never have had that nice chat if I hadn't called her over. Oh. You just got... Okay. Okay. Alright. I will keep that in mind. I feel like it's sort of setup I haven't really seen before, but the true villains were the billionaires taking out stress by beating the shit out of... Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, I mean, that might be the case. You know, so apparently there was like some sort of... there was a video game announced last weekend called Gotham Knights, and I didn't watch... So I have not watched any DC-related trailer that came out last weekend, so I'm completely out of the loop on that stuff. But apparently there was announced, like, basically like a Batman like raiding instance action game where you play as like the Bat Children and fight the villains, but like also you can go back and fight the villains more and the numbers will be bigger. Very strange. I don't know. There's something about DC stuff that I just don't. It's not that there aren't good DC things. Like there's some DC stuff that I love. The first Arkham game was very good. Yeah, maybe like Bat Diablo. That might be a good comparison. I mean, Batman the Animated Series is all time good. So you could stand to be a bit more social, you know. You're a good person. You'd get on perfectly fine with most. I'm flattered by what she's saying, but I'm not sure exactly how to put that into practice. Without a reply forthcoming, Eileen gives a flustered sigh. Allison, why do you think I joined this dumb club? When she mentions it like that, I realize I never did give her a compelling reason. Caprice and I just pushed it on her until she broke, or at least that's how I understood it. I actually thought about joining the existing art club for a while back when they first offered. They seemed interested in me, and I was just some bewildered freshman who didn't know anything at that point. Oh yeah, I've heard good things about... I've heard that there are some very choice moments in the new Harley Quinn. It is true. Over time, I realized they didn't give a damn about me. They just wanted my paintings and my skills. I was a trophy for their club, something to be shown off. That's when I gave up on them. So you joined this one because Caprice was better? She's the last person I would do this for. I joined the club for you, Allison. You just wanted to hang out while I did my thing. I liked that. There were no mental games. No need to worry about ulterior motives. I had someone to share my interests with. That's all I really wanted. Worked out pretty well in the end. I got someone to share my love of painting with and thought that maybe the club would help you open a bit. She joined for my sake as well as her own? I awkwardly fiddle with my coffee cup, trying to think of how to reply as my cheeks flush. I don't know what to say. Well, I do. We need to get to class. Raising an eyebrow at the change of topic, I grab my phone and check the time. I really had completely lost track of time while relaxing here with Eileen. I quickly jump up from my seat, pushing it in as Eileen collects her things and swings her coat and scarf around her. Ah, chemistry's just about to start. What class did you have coming up? Math. All energy dissipates from the situation as I pat her shoulder in sympathy. Yeah, that's brutal. Math. Can you imagine having to deal with that? Going to math. Hang in there, Eileen. Come on, Eileen. Yeah, well, look, I know what lowercase I is for. And lowercase I is for AC current. Okay? That's what lowercase I is for. All right, we got a new tune. Hot Jams. The elephant's mighty trumpeting sends a couple of children scurrying away with giggles of laughter. The animal is excited about the small crowd watching on as they are of him. What, are you concerned about the imaginary number, J? That's the number that we use when we're expressing complex numbers. Perhaps you've heard it before. I can tell you the good news about the imaginary number. Stepping back from the enclosure and joining Eileen once more, the two of us walk on. Even as we bought our tickets, I'd wondered if coming here during winter was such a good idea. It turned out to be better than I could have hoped. Why is it lowercase I and not just uppercase I? Because uppercase I is DC, direct current. It's really important to differentiate between the two. AC and DC. Typically AC. Was it? Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's uppercase I. I don't know. IVI. Yeah, Winter Zoo going is very powerful. Oh, why is the imaginary number I and not uppercase I? I mean, I don't know. I've never been here with so few people around. Usually this is a complete madhouse. It's nice. As we stroll on, Eileen takes my hand in hers as we walk. It's weird how such a simple gesture can make me feel so warm, my cheeks hurting as I smile. I've seen it done in so many romantic movies, but actually feeling someone take my hand in theirs feels so unexpectedly comforting. You're easy to please. Without any real idea of how to respond, all I can do is keep walking. Oh God, Fretzel, I think it's because of Latin. I think that's why, I think it's a Latin thing. I think that's why it's I. It's probably either that or like it's the fault of Germans. Maybe I should find it off-putting that Eileen's so calm about this sort of thing compared to me, but I think I might even prefer it. She feels reliable, I think. Level-headed. It's French. Tommy, it's the damn French. Crowded or not, it's a nice zoo. You've never been here before. Considering I've only been in this city since college started, not really. French actually invented a lot of electricity-related things. Did they make the electric guillotine? I hope they did. We'll need it. Where do you come from then? Russia. My family immigrated a few years ago, so still getting used to how things work around here. The question of whether she was a native has generally never occurred to me. She doesn't have any kind of accent, so I never would have thought of it. If she's Russian, I couldn't tell at all. Oh God, poor Allison. Just being inside like the head of someone who's just very like gullible is very funny. You don't measure voltage intensity. You measure voltage difference. Well, really, look, the more important unit, forget resistance. It's really all about conductance. That's got the much better unit. Oh. I can't tell if she meant for it to be a joke. Her expression makes it obvious she didn't expect me to actually fall for it. And I just feel stupid for not questioning her. I'm actually from around here, but moved to Colorado when I was a kid. I never had much interest in zoos. Colorado, huh? But why would you come back here? Moved out from my folks' place to make my own path. Have my own home, partner, life, and all that. To choose to move so far away from her family, especially to live in her apartment alone, it's hard to imagine considering how hard it's been for me. Having problems with her family is one thing, but jumping states to get away from them? Left wondering if I should delve into the topic any further, Eileen speaks up as we leave the Savannah area. The few people around the zoo seem to be congregating around the eating area ahead, which is a good sign. We should grab some lunch too. Do I have hot Colorado lore? For someone who the only association of Colorado is South Park. I don't think I really have any big lore. Like, I've never been to Colorado at all. I mean, probably like if you're looking for like weird quirky lore about Colorado, the best thing to look up would be the apocalyptic conspiracy theories regarding the Denver Zoo. That's really funny to look up. That'll probably help inform your idea of Colorado. I think that's like the best shit to look up for Colorado. I mean, besides that, Colorado is just sort of like known as like the Denver area is considered very trendy and like much more affordable. Although that's starting to change, of course, but like much more affordable than California. Yeah, it's high up. It's like high up, dry. But like, you know, it's also because it's high up, it's not quite bad, but oh, what's this? Oh, I don't know what that's about. But like, if you let me see if I can find yeah, Denver. If you search like Denver airport conspiracy, there is basically there's like a lot of exhibits at the Denver Zoo that like, and it's gotten to the point now where they started making fun of them. So like, here's an article from a few years back, where it's like they started putting up lizard people like as the spokesman for the Denver airport. Is it like construction or cover up? What are we doing, lizard people? And I think part of it has to do like with that there used to be like some like weird creepy images. So that's probably the best Colorado lore that I can think of off the top of my head. Yo, who wants to get an icy penguin to go? Folks, what do you think an icy penguin is? Is it just like a smoothie or like a slushy or something? Probably like some kind of like water ice thing, right? That's probably got to be it. Hungry for words? Just a bit. Yeah, like a blue slushy. Yeah. To be honest, I just need a rest. Eileen's pace is unrelenting, yet she looks fine despite how ragged I am. I don't understand it. I'll go grab something then. Go grab a seat for us before they're all taken, would you? Roger. Water ice. Yeah. My extremely international stream where I say water ice. Caprice's speech patterns are rubbing off on you. No, water ice oh god, what's the international, is it shaved ice? Is that the international term? Where it's just like, no, it's not a popsicle. It's like, it comes in a cup. It's just like, flavored, crumbly ice, basically. I don't know. It's yeah, it's basically slush, but like typically instead of having it through a straw, like a 7-Eleven slushy, you're usually spooning it, and there are more flavors. Like you go to a water ice place and You can get a lot of different flavors. Oh, it means popsicles. Italian ice. Is that? I feel like that's even more regional. I don't know. That feels very Philadelphia to me to say Italian ice, but I could be wrong. Water ice. I practically fall into the hard metal seat, watching the condensation from my breathing rise into the air as I recover myself. If nothing else, at least going out with Eileen will do wonders for my fitness. Well, yeah, water ice is more than Philly, but I feel like Italian. Oh, Italian ice is thinking. Okay. All right, whatever. We'll have to figure out the. We'll have to get up the map for water ice. With several couples in line ahead of her, Eileen crosses her arms and patiently waits. I can't help but let my eyes settle on her as she does. Ever since we met, I've noticed how beautiful she is. Her order made, I'm a little impressed at her managing to bring the sodas and hot dogs over in one trip with some very careful use of her fingers. Hungry from all the walking, I quickly slide mine towards me as she sets them down and takes a seat. How much was my share? It's fine, don't worry. You already bought my ticket. I said it's fine. Besides, it's nice to dote on someone. When she puts it like that, it's hard to argue with her. Letting Eileen have her way, I start on my food. A loud bird squawks in the distance, its calls reaching right across the entire zoo. I've always liked the strange and unfamiliar sounds you get in a place like this compared to the relative quiet of the apartments and the routine sounds of school. It is nice to dunk on someone, that's right. Oh, snow cone. Yeah, that's another term I've heard. I mean, sometimes you just gotta dunk. You just gotta do it. You gotta live that life. As comfortable as Eileen looks, packing up her quickly finished hot dog and soda and pitching them into a nearby bin, I can't quite seem to settle down. Thankfully, she's willing to take charge, given that I have no idea what I'm doing or how to act. I think Tiger Hot Dog is pretty good. I think what you should really do is just call them Tiger Hots. You know, really just like abbreviate the dog part. Just call them Tiger Hots. Get some red Tiger Hots, some white Tiger Hots. So the joke here is that in the Rochester, New York area, there is a hot dog company that has two varieties of hot dogs. The company's called Zweigels. And so in the Rochester area, when you go to like barbecues and people are grilling hot dogs, you tend to ask for either red hots or white hots. And so I've now picked up that habit. And whenever I talk to people about hot dogs, now that I live elsewhere, it's always like, what's a red hot? Like the hot sauce? I'm like, no, like a red hot, you know, like a little meat, you know. Enjoying yourself? Ah, yes. I really need to settle down. At least she doesn't seem to be too harsh on me for my nervousness, but it's plainly obvious that this is my first date. That's good. I'm not sure what to make of you when you clam up. I'm just not as used to this as you are. What makes you think that? You've never gone out with someone before? Do I look like I have? I almost blurt out a rather blunt answer. Uncompromising is definitely the word for her, but that doesn't mean she couldn't have had a girlfriend before me. Especially at our age, come to think of it. At least I had the excuse of being a bit shy and focusing myself on schoolwork. Eileen said herself she's known since at least high school. Ooh, what is this? What is this? Bring it the charm offensive on the first date. Wow. Eileen brings her head down, resting her chin on her arms as they lay on the table. I'm dumbstruck as she looks up at me with those tired eyes of hers. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're my first. You're a sweet girl. That look she gives me single-handedly explains why people do all this dating business. For one brief moment, it feels like the two of us are really in sync as we look into each other's eyes. Oh, it's a bird. I for a second I expected the, like, you know, the meme where it's like the one bird on the branch and then the crow shows up. I really thought the crow was gonna show up. Just be craw, craw. Only for a moment though, before a small bird suddenly lands onto the table between us. Its head darts this way and that, but it doesn't seem in the least bit shy about parking itself in front of Eileen's startled face. Well now, hello there. Ah, a little fox sparrow. It's so cute. Even my excited whispers don't seem to bother the little thing, leading to me gingerly breaking off a little of my hot dog bun and trying to feed it. I definitely feel like there's probably a version of that where it's like, you know, First Snow is a cute, comfy visual novel, and the crow shows up and is like, what about the save game bugs? Can you get all 100% achievements in 3 minutes? You know, like that would be the format where it's like, this is why you should play First Snow, and then the giant bird is like, Steam achievements, 3 minutes, 100%. While a little too timid to outright take food from my fingers, it seems quite happy to pick at a few sprinkles of bun I leave before it on the table. Eileen seems content to simply watch our little companion. You know what it's actually called? It's orange and white, after all. That would make it easy to remember. Oh, I have a problem where every time someone talks about a crow in media, I think of the crow. Isn't like one of the worst licensed video games of all time the there is a crow video game, right? I feel like there's a crow video game. I could be wrong though. I haven't not watched. Look, I'll say this. I think Robert Pattinson is the Batman that we need in 2020. Like, if there was no chance in hell anyone is ever going to get me to watch old Ben Affleck as Batman. Like, I have not seen any movie in which Ben Affleck was Batman, and I'm not entirely convinced that they exist. As the slightly chubby bird busies itself becoming a little chubbier, I feel my cheeks hurting from my smiling. I mean, Robert Pattinson is hilarious. I don't think I've ever seen a Robert Pattinson movie, but every time I read stories about him, he's always funny as hell. You really like animals, don't you? I pause a little, but quickly start feeding again as the bird looks at me expectantly. If our little friend lives around the zoo, it's obvious how it could become so tame. I mean, well, here's the thing about the Twilight movies though, right? Is that like both of those lead actors have, I think, gone on to really, I don't know, like I feel like their reputations have come to surpass those movies. Like they haven't been bogged down by them, which is good. Like it's obviously, it's always kind of a bummer when you see someone's like big breakout role sort of drag them down, but we've always had pets back home. Well, wait, oh wait, Kristen Stewart, isn't Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, those are the leads, right? I don't know anyone else who was in those movies, so. I don't think I remember that time. Right, yeah, I mean, you're right. Kristen Stewart's the main. Yeah. Your family keeps getting bigger and bigger. Must have been a hard change when you moved out. Having apparently had its fill, the bird spreads its wings and flies off at surprisingly speed for its weight. I wave as it goes, my hot dog the worse for wear thanks to my picking at the bun. You're a dork. I laugh off her jab before returning to our conversation. It was hard when I left, yeah. I have a new family now, though. You, Caprice, Rose, and everyone else I've met at college. Yeah, a real family. Disappointingly, Eileen looks rather skeptical at the idea. Then again, she doesn't seem to get on that well with anyone besides Wallace and I. I was always an optimist, I guess. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe some of it'll rub off on me. Eileen picks herself up from the table, giving a big stretch as she does. For a moment, we just look at each other, simply appreciative of the fact that we're here, together. Hey, Allison? Yeah? As she picks herself up, a little off her chair in order to lean across the table, it becomes obvious what she's doing. Relaxed enough to let her get away with a quick peck, I close my eyes and lean forward a little in anticipation, my heart beating just that little bit faster. As the feeling of her tongue hits my cheek, my body suddenly freezes up a shiver as a shiver runs down my spine. I hear myself give a weird startled gasp before I reflexively fall back into my chair. Eileen looks rather nonplussed as she settles back into her own chair. Oh, so there was a Crow game for PS1. Okay, yeah. Apparently that's really not well reviewed. But, you know, that's okay. I gotta say, my next Overboost interview, one of the games that we'll be discussing is a potentially excellent Fastpad game that I like. The time to first out of bounds was like 12 seconds. It was very good. So I'll be happy to share that once the pod comes out. Eileen looks. What was that? You just had mustard on your cheek, and I was maybe bullying you a little. I feel my face flower into a wild blush as I grimace at her, partly for her betrayal after my expectation of an affectionate gesture, and partly for startling me so badly. Yeah, no, she actually licked the mustard off her face, yeah. I don't know quite how to read Eileen's interested expression, but I don't care to ask as I sulk. I am genuinely a little mad at her, but I don't think it's getting through. Still not used to the physical side of all this. Letting out an amused snort and picking herself up from her seat, Eileen dusts herself off and gets ready to go. Come on, Miss Pouty Lips. Let's get moving before the weather goes bad. As Eileen closes the door to the apartment, I let my coat drop to the floor as I collapse over the back of her couch in exhaustion. How this girl can keep such a pace up for a whole day is totally beyond me. Even now, she doesn't seem too bothered. The only sign she's tired at all being some stretching after she takes off her scarf and coat. Haven't collapsed on me, have you? I'm dead. You can have my stuff. Better check before digging the grave. Remember how they used to do that? Sticking a big pin into a toe to see if they woke up from the pain. Look at that. I'm suddenly alive. It's a Christmas miracle. As she busies herself behind me, my eye is drawn to her entertainment cabinet that the television's sitting on. With curiosity getting the better of me, and perhaps to distract my wandering mind, I walk around the couch and press at the right door to pop it open. I'm hardly surprised that the movies inside are all perfectly organized, but the genres she's collected are strange. You want a coffee or something while you rummage through my stuff? I'm not rummaging, I'm just I try to think of another word to describe what I'm doing, but it doesn't take long to realize Eileen's right. Looking like a kid caught with their hand in the cookie jar as she walks back over. I try to change topics. Do you really like westerns or something? They're all either those or documentaries. Sorry to disappoint. I just like westerns. Can't be a nice simple plot with a good guy drifting into town, getting one over on the bad guy, and walking into the sunset. Nice landscapes too. Right, that makes sense. It's not on disc. Something feels off as we stand around in her apartment and chat, but it's hard to put my finger on it. The silences are just a little too long. The chatter nothing more than the small talk we've usually never needed. Here we are, the evening after a date, and filling in time milling about in her quiet apartment. Even the usual background noise of passing cars and busy tenants I hear around my home are nowhere to be heard. Just the two of us shuffling about alone. The thought of sharing a night with Eileen has passed my mind more than once, even if I've tried to distract myself from it. Is it too early? Would she think I'm weird? I don't even know how you even bring that up. Without any real reason to, I idly fiddle with Eileen's movie collection and read off the covers to seem occupied. You know, our date doesn't have to end now. As her words trail off, my heart freezes. Her stoic face only makes this worse, my brain freezing between bashfulness and shock at her being so blunt. We've only started dating, but the thought of sleeping together had passed my mind. Left spluttering about, I awkwardly turn away to hide my expression. Do you want to watch one of them together? Do what you want. I'm going to take a shower. Right, I'll just get a drink. As she leaves, I wander over to the kitchen and grab a glass, pouring some orange juice for myself to try and refocus. My heart's still racing, the thought of what Eileen suggested still playing on my mind. I wonder if I should really be letting Eileen take care of so much. She doesn't seem to mind at all, but that's not really the problem. Even now, she suggested we do what I did want to try, and I couldn't even bring myself to just accept. I want to get closer to her, but it feels like everything's happening at her pace. Then again, Eileen's not the only person in my life I've let dote on me while I go with the flow of others. The door from the bathroom opens as I set down the now empty glass, but the words are stolen from my mouth as I walk over to talk with her. Allison? Were you getting close? I'm sorry. My face burns hot as I stammer out the words, but she only steps closer. She takes my hands to stop me from moving away, holding them softly. Oh, there you go. I can feel her breathing. Her eyes look into mine, questioning. Suddenly the thought of even a kiss makes my head light. All I can do is nod, a tiny nod, which is enough for her to close the distance, kissing me more deeply than she ever has before. My heart races as her tongue touches mine, teasing it just a little before pulling back. I can hardly breathe by the time we separate, left clutching my chest and taking a deep breath to try and regain myself. It looked like you didn't get it, so I decided to be more blunt. With our excitement over, the two of us had a shower to clean up before settling in for the night. Enveloped in a soft, loving warmth as Eileen cuddles me, I almost want to nod off already as she gently strokes the back of my head. Given how cold she can be towards others, it's a real surprise she's so physically intimate. I have to admit that I like this side of Eileen, snuggling into her body as I think so. I love you, Eileen. I know. That's not what you're supposed to say. Oh, really? This is the image that got implied? I mean, I guess so. All right. I love you too. Even a few weeks ago, I never imagined I'd be sleeping with someone. We won't see each other for a while, so we have to make the most of our time before holidays. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that in all the excitement. It'll be nice to see everyone again, but there's a pang of disappointment that I can't be with Eileen more. You'll be going to stay with your family, right? Yeah, Colorado's not bad, so at least it'll be a nice change of scenery. It'll be nice to see my sister again, too. As Eileen thinks about her faraway family, I'm reminded of my own. I've been excited to go back home for the holidays for weeks now, but with her gone. You okay? I'll be fine. I just wish I could go with you. Sorry? As a plan forms in my head, I try to summon the same strong will she and Caprice have. I'd like to be with you over the break. Could I come? Eileen looks unsure of what to say. I wonder if she's trying to decipher if I'm making a serious suggestion or not. Even I don't know. And you talk about me going fast. Didn't you want to see your own family really badly? I do, but they won't be back home right away. I'll go back before Christmas. I don't want to be alone until then. She looks taken aback. I suddenly find I'm actually arguing for this instead of merely voicing a whim. I'm not really sure about this. You've never been outside the city, let alone the state. Then there's the fact you'll be in a house full of strangers. I coped with moving into Rose's apartment, and I'll be with you. After how much you've helped me until now, I'm sure I'll be fine. She tries to stare me down, but I've managed to find an internal willpower in some corner of myself I didn't know existed. Eventually, thankfully, Eileen lets out a long, tired breath. Fine, you win. You can come. Thank you. Just don't try to fix things, okay? As I snuggle into her warmth with a grin of victory, Eileen silently smiles as she pats my head once more. The classroom lies silent, save for the scratching of pencil against paper. I've already finished my math test, the unwillingness to be the first to turn it in being the only thing keeping me glued to my desk. Yeah, I gotta tell you, that is not a problem I've ever had. I was always one of those people who would just be like, first draft, last draft, get it out the door. I think I routinely, especially in my brief part-time law school existence, I would often be like the first person to turn in the exam. Because it's like, all right, whatever. I'm done. I'm thankful for the chance to rest, though. Eileen's pace as we scooted around the zoo took all my effort to keep up with. And then there was the other business we got up to. Of my time in law school, I actually I thought exams were the more enjoyable part of it, sort of, but like at the same time, like I enjoyed doing the exam as a matter of solving the problem. I don't always agree with how they're graded, but that's like, that's just a discussion about writing, which is another matter. Someone finally brings his paper to the front, other students following suit soon after. I quickly join them, eagerly placing my test on the teacher's desk and packing my things afterwards. The last final of the semester now over, I'm ready to go home and to see Eileen one last time before she leaves for Colorado. Hey! The loud voice from behind makes me jump in startlement. Oh, Caprice, hey. My heart slowly moves out of my throat, with Caprice and I starting off together towards art club. I had considered asking Eileen if we could walk back to her apartment together instead, but I couldn't leave without saying my goodbyes to Caprice and Wallace if I could find him. What brings you to my class anyway? Millie wasn't around, so I got lonely. So I'm the second choice, huh? Well, at least I can be around for her. Well, I think she is going to, but not yet. You two really are close, aren't you? Yep, we grew up together, and now we even live together. Millie, and me, and Haley. She's our other friend. We take good care of each other. There really are all kinds of relationships. It's so different from high school where everyone was neatly organized into friends, classmates, or strangers, and we all just lived with our parents. Do you have a roommate? What are they like? I live with a family friend. She's nice, even if she looks a bit rough. I have the apartment to myself a lot, though. The statement seems to give Caprice food for thought. You shouldn't look so tired. School's finally over for the year. And that's why we're having an extra special art club meeting. Extra special? You'll see what I mean. I have a feeling she's working this out as she goes along. I still can't decide if I like that spontaneity of hers. It's endearing, but there's no sense of stability to her like Eileen has. As we head towards the arts building, we spot Eileen just outside, busy huffing into her hands and rubbing them together for a little warmth. It takes a moment for her to notice us. Eileen, hi. As she looks up in my direction, I noticed her shoulders relax a little. It wasn't long ago that I only ever saw Eileen tense and on guard, but now she reflexively relaxes when around me. It's nice. For her part, Caprice just bowls on ahead without a care in the world. Hey! Eileen tenses right back up as she sees my companion. The moment lost. Still, I'm left rather happy at the effect I have on Eileen, whether she notices it or not. Afternoon, you two. Caprice, why are you looking at me like that? It's creeping me out. Caprice grabs onto both our shoulders and, to my surprise, directs us away from the arts building. We've had a change of plans. Do I get a say in this? Once again, Caprice either doesn't hear or chooses to ignore the question. By the time we arrive at my apartment and shirk our coats, it's already dark enough to flick the lights on as we enter. Apart from the sound of passing cars, the only sounds are Caprice's exaggerated sounds of thoughtful inspection. Eileen raises an eyebrow as Caprice whips out her phone to take a photo for posterity. The item disappearing into her pants pocket almost as quickly as it appeared. Will you just leave that thing? You've been fiddling with your phone on the way here more than Allison does. Hey. Well, it's true. Caprice gives a thumbs up, but it has the opposite effect of anything. Her agreement is a little too quick, given how stubborn Caprice usually is. So Rose isn't here then? She drifts in and out. I've given up trying to work out any schedule to it. Cool posters. They're my roommates. She's been living here longer than me, so the decorations are all hers. A knock on the door rings out. 4 light taps struck with a metronome's timing. Come in. Door's unlocked. Huh? What's going on? This is my apartment, you know. Caprice just grins, drawing a grimace from Eileen. What did you think I was on my phone for? I called over some friends. The old door creaks open, with Millie's head peering into the living room. Assured that she's come to the right place, she skips in with the unmistakable figure of Wallace, following her like a giant shadow. Millie, have you heard from Haley? Millie answers as she takes off her coat, Wallace doing the same for his scarf. She's at home sleeping. Seems like finals tired her out. She never wants to go anywhere. I don't know this Haley, but I feel like I can relate. It's not just about finals or going particular places. Being around people is exhausting in itself. Lately, I've been looking forward to it, though, even if it takes a lot out of me. The clinking of bottles draws my attention, looking downward, showing a six-pack of bottled beer being carried in one hand, and a plastic bag with a couple of brightly colored nacho packets visible inside. Caprice looks up to the two, surprised just as I am by the present they've brought along. Ooh, just a little something for the special event. Yo, can we talk about how the villain of this story is serving alcohol to minors? I hope the story ends with Millie going to jail, if there's any morality in this visual novel at all. Christ. I can't believe you didn't take the Santa hat they were offering, though. I'm not wearing a Santa hat, Christmas or not. Why not? Would have suited you. Don't you start. So this was Caprice's plan, a party to celebrate the end of college for the year. I really would have preferred her to just tell me, but there's also a begrudging respect that she apparently managed to organize all this during the short trip from college to my apartment. I'm about to warn Wallace about Millie casting covetous eyes on his beer when Eileen leans over and murmurs in my ear, Is a party here going to be a problem for you? It'll be fine, I think. Satisfied with my answer, she steps over to the couch and takes a seat with a sigh. Despite my waving off of the concern, I appreciate Eileen's sense of responsibility. Well, yeah, Wallace is the one who's of age, right? Oh, I guess maybe Millie could be old enough. As we talk, Wallace sets down the beer and chips on the table. Caprice wastes no time in scooting over and ripping open the bag, Millie soon following and taking a seat across from her. Yo, I just had like an incredible 2020 sensation. I was gonna be like, hey folks, do you remember when you would hang out with friends in the same room and eat food together? It's only been like 6 months, right? God, I remember those times. Anyway, the fact she steals one of the beer bottles doesn't go unnoticed. Millie, just the one. It won't hurt, right? Hey, stop hogging the chips. But I'm hungry. Wallace just sighs, defeated as the two bicker over the food. I feel a little sorry for him, but given he did bring them. Make yourselves at home. Eileen gestures for me to join her, jerking her head. Giving up any thought that I could control them, I skip over and take a seat on the cushion next to her. As Eileen turns towards the television, she finds a beer bottle held in front of her face. Looking up to the smiling Wallace offering it, she takes it in her hand. Merry Christmas, Eileen. Cheers. Same to you. The two clink their bottles together, popping the lids with the bottle opener on Wallace's keychain before Eileen slouches back into the couch. While the thought passes my mind that the last thing I would want is an alcohol-fueled mess at my place, those fears are put to rest as the two gently sip away. They're just friends sharing a drink, not partygoers looking to get as drunk as they can. Looking around the room, this sure is low-key for a college party. We're just friends drinking and gossiping. It's nice. Far from the wild craziness I expected when I heard tales about college when growing up. Guess I fell in with the right crowd. What are you doing hanging out with us losers anyway, Millie? Writing club not doing anything special? They're doing this and that, but most of them seem to have plans. The leader and his friends are graduating, so it's going to be up to me to keep the ship sailing. Sounds like you're going to have your hands full next semester then. Always up for a challenge. big black eyes. Hey, Wallace. I'm haunted. I'm haunted right now. Eileen is gone full PT. Caprice's excited tone as she wolfs down her mouthful of nachos fails to enthuse him. You want to put this on the stream? Oh boy. But no. All right. Let me give me a second here. All right. So this is the video. Here you go. Let's actually let me just silence the other thing in case there's a video effect here. All right, here you go. What? Uh-oh. So, bro, that's pretty good. Yes, excellent. I mean, look, sometimes you have to moonwalk away, okay? The only thing that Archie saw for years. Good. I'm the only one who notices the creak of the door, my attention wholly focused on it as I wonder who's arrived. Part of me worries that Caprice organized for more people to come, the girl now bickering with Millie. As the leather-clad woman steps in, everyone in the room suddenly drops into a dead silence. As they stare back at her, the woman being just as dumbstruck. Sup? I struggle to stifle a chuckle, never having seen Rose act so awkwardly before. Everyone, this is my roommate, Rose. Rose, these are my friends from college. The clarification has the intended effect, everyone relaxing as soon as the words are said. Sure is some wild party you got going on here. Oh, actually, I'm left wondering what she's doing as she clicks her fingers and dives back for my coat. After a few minutes fishing about, she manages to pluck out my phone. After handing it to me to enter the unlock code, Rose stands back in the corner of the room and holds it up in both hands. Just gonna take a quick photo for the folks. Smile, guys! Caprice and Millie need no further prompting, leaning towards each other as Caprice flashes a V and gives a toothy grin. I simply lean towards Eileen as she does the same. As we do, I idly note that this will be our first photo together. Eileen underage drinking on camera. Wallace just almost cross-eyed. As Rose brings the camera steady, I can't stop myself from smiling. I spent so long stressing about being away from my family, but before I knew it, I found myself surrounded by a new one. We might all be a bit odd, but we get along. I found someone to hold dear, and who cares for me? We're all in this together, celebrating life in my little slice of the city. I finally made a life that I can call my own. Thank you, everyone. Rose, Caprice, Wallace, even Millie. and especially Eileen. Achievement unlocked! Oh, yeah! All right, good. Act 3, a world away. One thing I hadn't counted on when asking Eileen if I could come over was how large the distances involved were. I'm already feeling the difference from home. Colorado and Utah might be right next to each other on the map, but all to be seen between them are vast plains of utterly nothing. With noon approaching and little else around for miles as we motored down the endless strip of tarmac, Rose made the executive decision to chance this place for some lunch. It's a little chintzy for my taste. The faux 50s interior decorated with a mishmash of cheap Americana. Girl, that's doo-wop. Respect it. But Rose is in her element as she stuffs down another hunk of meat. At least it's quiet beyond the cheerful music, given we have the diner to ourselves. Yeah, it's basically diner. Like, faux 50s interior is basically diner shit. So, I mean, whoever did this knew what they were doing. I'd barely slept all night, not only at the prospect of seeing Eileen's home, but at this being my first trip so far from mine. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Is there Scrapple in this video game? And if not, when will the Scrapple DLC be coming out? When will Rose have a Scrapple tattoo? Absolutely Polish. Right now, though, I'm just glad to be free of the motorbike's vibration and noise. I've finally become used to the odd short trip around the city, but this road trip is something else entirely. Oh my, oh. Still getting your bike legs, huh? Did she just get nachos? What is that supposed to be? It looks like she took the jalapenos off. So I think that's just nachos and she's being a picky eater and taking the jalapenos off. That's my guess. I think this is either meatloaf or a steak. I'm not sure. Yeah, she's can you believe that? She's road tripping on a bike in winter? Christ. Yeah, I suppose so. Allison's hotness needs are met. It's been 4 hours. Give me a break. Three more to go. She digs in once more as I groan and try to swing my legs back to life. Man, the steaks here are amazing. You're missing out. I think I'll be fine. I take a sip of my milkshake while gauging how best to tackle the huge plate of steaming nachos before me, buried in cheese, sauce, and sour cream. The jalapenos are carefully picked off and sitting to the side. Yo, I can understand basic visuals. Shoutouts to me. I could probably pass one of those cognitive tests. Yeah, no, let's do it. There's not much to see out here as I glance out the window. All right, you know what? Actually, that just reminded me of something. I want to see real quick if I can find a particular Twitch clip of something, because I'm just thinking about going on a road trip on a bike, and all I can think of is this one GTA 4 clip. I want to see if I can find it real quick. Oh, actually, I might know where I can find it. Oh no, where is it? Come on. Oh no, that's not it. Damn it! All right, maybe I'll have to find it later then. I thought I had it, but all right. Just an endless plain stretching out to the horizon, an enthusiastic welcome sign at the otherwise invisible border being all that indicated we'd entered a different state. I can't, nacho calculations aren't real and they can't hurt me, okay? Not sure what I expected, really. I knew there are no rivers or anything defining the border, but it's a different thing to see that for yourself. It's just so arbitrary. A line on a map, nothing more. Far from being any sort of revelation, it just makes me feel rather silly about being so sheltered. This all probably barely registered to Eileen as she drove along the lonely highway. See, now I'm distracted because I want this clip so bad. Whatever, I gotta stop looking for it. Yeah, all I can think about with this motorcycle thing is just... That's weird. It's just... Oh wait, I think I found it. Did I find it? Yeah, all right, I got it. Wait. wait. All right. Well, we need to now that I found this. So folks, this is like what I'm thinking about when it comes to what, you know, what this road trip is like, right? So just think about it. Allison and Rose are road tripping, right? And they're just on a motorcycle. Everything's fine. Rose is driving. And suddenly something happens. just like I like just gone. The bike was abandoned. The bike, yeah, no, get on the motorbike. Get on the motorbike. The bike was abandoned. So that's where this is right now. All right. Be careful. Be safe. Don't abandon your motorbike. Rose picks up her phone to check the address I gave her once again, forcing down the current chunk of steak she's eating with a giant gulp. Yeah, Rating Club is out to write your obituary. Be careful. Still have a while to go, huh? If it's as close to the big city as you've said, we shouldn't have a problem finding the place. So she's never told you anything about her home? Her family? She mentioned her sister once. She scratches the back of her head as she thinks. I don't mean to pry, but I still don't get why she'd come all the way from outside the state to live in Utah. Not that I have anything against the place, but I do like it, but it's not exactly where I would choose if I were her. But coming here just for a community college? That's the part that gets me. Not exactly an artist, but from what you've said, she probably could get a scholarship at a proper college. Sounds like she could probably afford tuition even without one. Rose looks to me for answers, but I have none. When she puts it that way, there are vast stretches of Eileen's past that are total black spots to me. She leaves me to stew a little as we eat our respective meals, piping up again as she chews. Remember when you asked me about my family a few weeks ago and I blew you off? Feel like I should probably explain that. Not to get too deep into things, I ended up cutting ties with my mom and pop. Given what my family was like, I wanted to have a clean break from them. Oh, I'm sorry for bringing it up. I've made peace with it, don't worry. My point is... Failing to remember, she starts circling her fork in the air. The point of all this was... Right, Eileen. I'm just saying that there might be a reason she's cagey about her personal life. Interstate motorbike. I feel like I'm going to have to go no here. And the reason for that is just because I feel like the motorbike I don't think does enough to embody the driver. Like, this is why, like, a car, like, by itself, like, a car is not really usually going to be a mech. Whereas even with, like, a tank, how does it embody? Well, let me hear your argument here. Well, okay. Yeah, well, yes, you control things. But I don't think, a mechanism for operating the vehicle, because, like, by that logic, like, construction equipment, becomes mechs. And I don't know if I'm ready for that. When I feel like... well, it's true. I guess the original Zaku 1 in Mobile Suit Gundam was, in fact, and like Labors in Pat Labor, that's all construction equipment. I guess that makes sense. My nod earns a comforting grin. You're a good kid, Allison. I'm sure you'll do fine. In fact, you even taught me a little something. I feel like Rose could do very well with like this is fine, with coffee. To be honest, I expected to be mothering you around when you first arrived to live with me, that you were some kid I already knew everything about, who I'd be left teaching adult life to. Yeah, I was kind of wrong there. But you have helped me so much, I couldn't have managed without you around. And you've surprised me so much. You made me rethink how much I know about the world and other folks as an adult. I got a little arrogant without even realizing it, and you brought me down to earth. I thought adulthood was about knowing everything, but it's actually about admitting how much you don't know. I wanted to thank you for teaching me that. Satisfied with her explanation, Rose quickly gets back to her precious steak. Left in thought, I get back to my own food. Remember eating in restaurants? This scene is like so out of time. I feel like I'm reading about something that happened in the past. I didn't realize I could have such an impact on another's life, let alone Rose's. I looked up to her so much that I forgot we're both just muddling through life together. Eileen's lived so much of her life in a solitary manner that maybe opening up to me isn't as easy. Maybe she just doesn't want to, given her past experiences. Eileen aside, this trip's probably a good thing. It'll push you out of your own comfort zone a little. You've already grown in the time I've been bunking with you. Just hang in there, alright? Thanks, I will. Atta girl. Sharing a smile while we get back to our food. Eat your jalapenos, girl. Come on. Of all the people I might have ended up with as a roommate, someone like Rose was among the last I expected. Maybe she's just the sort of person who was best for me. Achievement unlocked. High speed. The two of us find ourselves in a surprisingly quaint little corner of America. A heavily forested town with snow-covered pines visible no matter which direction you look. Wood seems to be the norm for building around here rather than concrete. Yo, we got to Twin Peaks. Sweet. Yeah, the OK Motel. It's just okay. Gas. Go. They can be great, but some are pickled too hard and they taste super sour. Yeah. I find it quite charming, actually. I was worried I'd be awkwardly roaming through some manicured slice of suburbia, but this feels closer to a friendly country town. Almost something from one of Eileen's westerns. Oh yeah, no, it was pretty good. Icy made she put some like brown sugar and mustard on some salmon, and it was good. But it had like good mustard heat, which I think might have been too much for Icy. I liked it though. Just give me a call the day before you want to come back, all right? I will. Thanks again for all this. I know it's a really long way. Don't worry, it's a nice ride out to here anyway. Might stick around a bit before heading back. As she walks back to her bike, she stops and turns around once more, raising her hand in farewell. Really, if you started I think if you started interspersing like mini games into this visual novel, you would take the Johnny race sequence from Chrono Trigger and just put that in. And be like, you and Rose are just like racing somebody on the highway between Salt Lake City and Colorado. I think that would be appropriate. If you ever want to give me a call, good. Oh yeah, complete non sequitur road rash. Yeah, just do it. Just play all of Ride to Hell Retribution. If you ever want to give me a call, go ahead. It's no problem. I'll be seeing you, Allison. Yeah. She beams a smile as she gets back on her bike, fitting her helmet before kicking back the stand. With a flick of her wrist and press of her foot, her bike roars to life. Rose sailing off down the road and around the corner out of sight. But not before falling off her bike and doing a series of cartwheels and abandoning her bike. I do my best to appear natural as I turn back to the house before me, duffel bag of clothes slung over my shoulder. That's a big house. Big house energy. The scenery around here is nice and there's hardly a crowd. In fact, I'm the only person around at all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would call this style, but now that I get a good look at it, Eileen's house sure is big. I mean, I grew up in a large Victorian Gothic house that's like 4,000 square feet, so I can't exactly like complain too much. Diego, what is this? What is this? What are we doing here? Did you all know that Diego is like right here? There he is. Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. I got him. Okay. My eyes slowly scan around as I slowly make my way down the front garden path, taking in every detail. He's at the top of the stairs now, I see. Yeah, the art, yeah. With a gulp, I gingerly. Oh, she has no depth perception. Ah. Yo, can you believe that Thanksgiving is already canceled? But also, like, I don't know. Fretzel, I don't know how you're gonna navigate COVID Christmas, because I'm pretty sure, isn't your family sort of on the, COVID is a hoax conspiracy train? Not to out you too hard here. His death perception. What isn't canceled? Streaming. With a gulp, I gingerly pressed the doorbell beside the solid oaken door, quickly brushing my clothes with my hands afterwards to look as presentable as possible. Even as muffled footsteps approach, I'm trying to flick a little snow from my hair. As Eileen opens the door, I'm greeted by a warm smile. That reflexive reaction at the sight of me makes me feel better already. Fancy seeing you here. I made it in the end. I mean, I think I met one of Fretzel's parents once. And Mama Fretzel was fun, but probably not someone who I would discuss politics with. Maybe I would now, actually. That might have been a true statement for me to make in you know, 2010. In 2020, no one, like, I'm ready to punch everyone, actually. So, like, sorry. Do you want me to blast you? Do you want me to put you on blast? You keep sharing articles that COVID is caused by 5G, and I need you to tell you I'm taking away your internet. Oh, I mean, honestly, you never expect to, like, be persuasive, you know? Enjoy the bike ride? Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's been growing, you know? Looking at each other, I think we both realize we're just making small talk. She leans forward, the two of us sharing a momentary kiss before she nods for me to come in. It's strange how such a simple action can feel so nice every time, my heart skipping even from the most gentle peck. All right, folks, I keep leaving things open and they keep catching my eye. And so now that means that I have to share this. But anyway, you'll have to go, if you want to see what I just posted, you have to go to the Discord. You can get somewhere by lecturing your parents aggressively. That's good. I obediently follow her inside, closing the door behind me as I do. Dad, Eileen's cut off by the sound of socked footsteps on carpet rapidly approaching. A small figure suddenly skips around the corner of the stairs and out into the entranceway, nearly barreling straight into Eileen before stopping herself. Yeah, this is such a rich people ass house. It's got the big open floor plan with, like, the interior, like, second floor balcony. Big flat screen above the fake ass fireplace. I mean, Look, a lot of your phone conversations end up with you yelling at the phone. So that's, I'm not trying to put you on blast. I'm just describing things. With both of us taken by surprise, the small girl examines me. Likely around 10 by the looks of her, it's not difficult to see a bit of Eileen in her face. Hello there. She quickly shuffles behind Eileen in response, her apprehensive face peering out from safety. Eileen just gives a sigh in response. Welcome to the family. Big bird. All right, what we got here? Okay, this is obviously coleslaw. You got your carrots and your cabbage and your radicchio. Those are some rolls, some hot rolls. I feel like this looks like probably some sliced cheesy potatoes. Some chives. Oh, it could be potato salad. Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm thankful for the luxurious dinner before me. It's a rather quick introduction to her family. I can't help but feel intimidated when surrounded by everyone at once. What's in the drink? I mean, it could be. With her father already preparing dinner as Eileen let me in, and her mother arriving from work only soon after, it was unavoidable. That being the case, here we all are gathered around one big table. While not exactly a mansion, it's obvious Eileen's family lives very comfortably. I'd probably be green with envy at how well off they are, if not for being so self-conscious of how to act in front of them. I suppose some proper introductions are in order, now that we're all together. Well, what is Big Mom energy over here? I'm Eileen's father, Andrew, and this is my lovely wife, Elizabeth. Oh, all right. A pleasure. And you would be Allison? Yes, Allison Merlot. My nerves seem to amuse her father as he gives a reassuring smile. Android, what's her... Oh, what? From, Detroit Being Human? Or... Oh, Android 18. Android 18. From DBZ. Yeah. This isn't a job interview. You can relax. Right, yep, sorry. I let out a long breath to try and relax a little, though it doesn't really work. Well, now let's dig in. I'm no chef, but hopefully it shouldn't give you food poisoning. Smiling politely at his attempt to lighten the mood, I start to ladle this and that from the large plates, My mouth's already watering at the prospect of so much wonderful smelling food. Rose might be many things, but she isn't a cook. Satisfied with my selection of meat and salads, I pile some, oh, it is potato salad, onto my fork and tentatively have a taste. My reactions seem to draw some smiles as I make progress on the meal, but I'm so enamored with the food I can't help but keep going. Well, people are either, that was, whatever that was loud. That was close. Those tired eyes. Just intense eye bags under eyes, SCP. It's nice to see Eileen's already made friends in college. A brief panic comes over me as I realize we haven't talked this over. Is she out to her parents? Are we going to play this as simply friends? As I mull over how to handle things, Eileen's voice cuts through. Allison's my girlfriend. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Oh, is this? Oh, here you go. Here we go. Okay. Everything seems to stop for a moment. Yes, you should have. Ooh. I thought you said having a girlfriend wouldn't be a problem. You know that isn't what I'm talking about. This isn't the first time you've kept us in the dark since moving out. I just feel like dad expression here is just like intensifying. If I leave this, will it just zoom in on his face? Is it gonna, when's it gonna, I was really hoping it would keep zooming in and eventually it would just be his face filling up the whole screen with that expression. I have to admit that I can sympathize with her mother, which puts me in a delightfully awkward spot. Eileen's father makes no attempt to mediate as he eats, which is probably the best approach. Just dumb dad intensifies. I didn't think I needed to report back on everything I did. Don't you think this is important enough to warrant a phone call? Do I have zoom power? I can... Are we talking... I mean, I guess I could zoom the source. Wait a second here. Wait. Just keep going. All right, I need to fix it now. No, it's kind of hard because I have to do it like I'm in like pain or something. Diego stays on top. Look, layering in OBS is impossible. Thank you very much. All right, whatever. Good enough. Oh, OBS does have... yeah, you're right. OBS does have undo. I could have just undone that. Anyway. Neither Eileen nor her mother raise their voice, even eating the odd bit of food as they quibble. The argument almost feels routine, which, going by her father's reactions, might well be the case. Even her sister is still eating, although with badly hidden glances. I mean, our daughter's first girlfriend. Isn't it nice she's gained something from college? She looks pointedly to her husband with just an edge of snark to her voice, but he, perhaps smartly, simply acknowledges her with a smile. Dropping that on them here and now is quite the decision. I'm beginning to wonder why I thought this was a good idea. I can't read her parents at all, but I can already tell my presence here is only increasing a tension that usually permeates the household. Well, you know now. At least Eileen dating a girl isn't a problem in and of itself. Eileen's father finally pipes up as their argument peters out, taking a swig of his wine to wash down his food. What is this? What's this sister? Yeah, she's got ready for blood. She's like, she wants Minecraft now. That's what she wants. Setting all that aside, it sounds like college in Utah is working out well for the both of them. Her father gives a brief chuckle, maybe sensing my tense mood. He seems down to earth and relaxed, especially compared to her mother. That said, I get a vague feeling of being a foreigner, and not just because I'm in a different city, as if there's a certain social etiquette that I'm not aware of, but everyone else is following naturally. Quite. So, tell us about yourself, Allison. Attention now focused on me. I freeze up. I must have expected this would come up. Judging by their conversation, Eileen probably told them nothing about me. This feels like introductions on the first day of elementary school, all over again. Let's see. I go to the same college as Eileen. I've lived in the same city my whole life, but I moved a little closer to campus before semester started, so I'm still getting used to that. So you are an art student like Eileen? Oh no, I'm nowhere near her level. I'm actually on a science scholarship. Science, huh? Oh, look at this. Well, I wish my girl would study science, do something useful, get a job. She sounds immediately interested, her eyebrows raised, but all I can offer is an evasive dodge. I don't know how to say that I'm not really excited about it, even if I apparently have some talent. We are in the art club together, though. We met through the mutual friend who made it. I see. Her previous curiosity suddenly hits a wall, her entire demeanor changing. Did I say something wrong? The abrupt change in tone completely breaks my train of thought, unsure whether to continue or clear things up. The other problem I have is the feeling of someone's eyes drilling into me. Eileen's mother notices as my eyes shift beside her, hand holding the little girl's back to reassure her. Come on, dear. Be polite. The effort doesn't seem to move her, the girl resisting as her suspicious face shrinks behind her daintily patterned children's plate. Don't be silly. My name's Eve. Oh shit, it's Parasite Eve. Nice to meet you, Eve. That's a lovely name. I keep smiling, but her pouting shows my charm offensive isn't working out. Once again, Eileen comes to the rescue, speaking up as I try to think of another way to overcome her distrust. Are you going to be like this all night? Eve just huffs and starts shoveling food into her mouth. The size of her spoon and the table before her makes the attempted seriousness look more amusing than anything else. Don't mind her. She'll come around. No. She might say that, but I was hoping her cute little sister might be a little warm towards me. At least their mother has given up questioning me for now. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. The spare guest room's just been cleaned out a few days ago, so you can use that while you're here. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry to impose so much on you. You have charm going for you. Wouldn't you say, Eileen? Eileen grimaces, her mother embarrassing her in that particular way only a parent knows how. I was really hoping that maybe Eileen's mother would like dab on her or something. I feel like I was really hoping for. Or maybe Andrew could do that. I can already feel my eyelids getting heavy as I lean back into the wonderfully soft couch. The exhaustion of the trip and meeting with Eileen's folks finally catching up to me as I rest in the living room. The fireplace happily crackles away near the Christmas tree. The cozy room all the warmer thanks to the heat of the showers still lingering on my skin. All that can be heard are the fire and the faint clanking of dishes as Eileen's parents wash up, recounting the day's events between them. I very nearly succumb to my doziness before Eileen walks in, pulling back her still slightly wet hair. The sight of her in pajamas wakes me up a little, though I quickly try to move my gaze elsewhere. She practically collapses onto the couch beside me, staring up at the ceiling for a while to collect herself. I catch myself staring at her, but if she minds, she doesn't show it. What a day. That goes for both of us. There will be zero JoJo references. I mean, but have you considered? I almost mentioned the argument Eileen had with her mother, but I can't work out how I want to phrase it. Maybe it's for the best that Eileen preempts me. So, how was the trip now that we can talk properly? The times we stopped were good. You're braver than I am. Couldn't pay me enough to get on one of those things. Ah, come on. I'm sure you'd be a natural at it. No way. Your roommate's crazy for using it as her only transportation. Your parents seem nice. Eileen just shrugs. I really could use some art though of like Caprice doing the walk towards Eileen, like the JoJo walk. I feel like that would be a good meme for this. I wish they were a little more subtle. About what? Being so specific that you'll use the guest room, not mine. Oh, come on. That's classic. My cheeks flush scarlet as I connect the dots. Did you just realize what that was about? Yeah, did you, Allison? No, but I'm still embarrassed to talk about it. Eileen finds amusement in how flustered I am. I bury my face in my hands. Never change. If I had lied and said we were just friends, I wonder if they would have been so adamant about the two of us not sharing a room. I peek at her from behind my hands. I don't really know what to say. I don't know enough about her parents to say anything. Yeah, I mean, I would say I was expecting... I was legit expecting her to be a play, to have them be in a separate room. I thought it would be a plot point, and I was right. So, like, pretty normal to me, I guess, is how I would put it. Maybe that would have been better, huh? Her smile returns, and she leans in toward me. I can feel my face go redder. My heart burning in my chest, all I can do is lean in to meet her. I mean, I don't know, I consume a lot of stories. Like, to be clear, I'm enjoying the story. I don't consider reading fiction to be a contest of wills. If I can predict what's going on, that usually means that the story writer is just, you know, reasonably foreshadowing things. Which is good, you know? Yeah. Eileen closes her eyes, our lips meeting for one brief moment. As I pull back, the two of us look at each other and smile, partly from happiness and partly from our sheepishness. It's going to be a while before this comes naturally, I guess. As I watch her, though, Eileen's face slowly collapses into frustration. What's wrong? Everything's wrong. Now I'm just imagining Eve making that noise. It's really good. She's like, everything's wrong. Eve, you gotta stop screaming like that. Eileen makes no secret of her displeasure as she sighs and takes to her feet, confronting the small and very unhappy girl before us. It stings to be so close, only to be interrupted. Eve. Eileen's sister takes little notice, directing her pouting towards the object of her annoyance. Me. She's my sister. I finally get to play with Eileen after so long, and you keep hogging her. Wanna play, do you? Eileen flits behind Eve while she's busy ranting at me, bringing her arms around the child's midsection and lifting her up against her chest with ease. As Eve finds her feet dangling a couple of inches from the carpet, she begins flailing about to grab a foothold. And then just suplexes her. Oh. Do a proper SPD, you know? Get that proper spinning pile drive. Let go of me. Wow, you haven't grown at all. That'll definitely help calm her down. To no surprise, the two start fighting, Eve's slight body jerking this way and that as Eileen plants her feet and refuses to let go despite her squirming around. I'll tell Mom on you. And what? She'll ground me? Eve fruitlessly continues to straggle. I think that should be struggle. Arms and legs flailing about in the air. For all her frustration and growling, her acting out just makes Eileen all the more amused as she teases her little sister. Watching the two having their little sibling scuffle, it reminds me of my brothers at home. For the first time, my nerves about being here fade a little. I imagine like a sound effect when I see that kind of transition. Sitting on the side of the bed I'll be using for a week, I idly watch the news on the small television placed on a cabinet. The little speakers on the device try valiantly, but the voices are so tinny, I can barely understand them. It's 10:30 in the evening, going by the clock in the corner of the broadcast. Adulthood's weird. Now that I can go to sleep whenever I want without my parents disapproving, I dutifully do so at a reasonable time anyway, so I can be fresh for school. The fact I'm actually watching the news nowadays too is strange. Bored of the reports about trucks being stuck after sliding around on the roads, I let myself flop back onto the soft blankets as it drones on. Lacking the energy to do much else, I lazily stare upwards. In Japanese television broadcasts, you permanently see the clock in the top left corner of the TV, superimposed by the network. Is that a thing in the US? So typically on American TV broadcasts, it'll just be the time will be visible, but it'll usually be in a bottom left or right hand corner. Like I'm trying to think, like just thinking off the top of my head, I think it's usually bottom right hand. But like I don't know. It's when you say the clock, do you mean like a full analog clock image, or you do just mean like the time? Just the time. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's common for the time to be visible on it, but usually it's like a part of like the like the HUD, you know? Like, cause like in the bottom will be like the NBC logo and, you know, 9:45 or, you know, whatever. Never see clock here on European. Oh, really? Interesting. No, I feel like, I guess the sense I always get is that just because it's like the real world, it happens in real time. And like also, like when I think of even like radio, which obviously there isn't a visual component to that, obviously, but like what time it is like matters a lot, because like the local news radio station would be like, you know, you'll always get traffic on the 2s, you know, like every 10 minutes, so stuff like that. But yet another unfamiliar ceiling above me. It feels like everything is constantly changing these days. My old home sure didn't have a guest bedroom, let alone one that's so nicely furnished. Here I was thinking it'd be squeezing into Eileen's bed. Not that I'd have minded that at all. For all the lovely things she has here, though, Eileen seems to be intentionally trying to distance herself from her parents. I don't understand it at all. Current home doesn't have a bedroom. Is it like yeah, it's just like a studio, basically. She might have told me not to pry into her life, but it's hard to ignore what's right in front of my face. I quickly shuffle myself up at the sound of the opening door sliding across the carpet. With a gentle touch, Eileen gingerly closes the door behind her. I had thought everyone to be asleep by now, but maybe I should have expected her, of all people, to still be up. Eileen? She puts a finger over her lips as she turns back before walking up, climbing onto the bed, and facing me as I twist around. The two of us end up sitting in its center. Shouldn't you be sleeping? Same goes for you. She has me there, far from the quiet feeling awkward. I find myself smiling at our secret rendezvous. Makes me think of a DDR song. It feels like we're kids having a sleepover. Too bad the movie's just news instead of some horror movie snuck past their parents. Oh yeah. What's this like? We are secret lovers, hope no one discovers. A secret hideaway. Something like that, like a rendezvous just beyond the way. It's been years since I played that game. You did that? Once, my friends were so freaked out, we went back to the usual horrible romance stuff. Yeah, secret rendezvous. There's nothing wrong with romance movies. Her face makes it abundantly clear this is a difference of opinion that'll never be bridged. I have to admit, there is one thing different back then, too. Eileen's body is really hard to ignore when we're like this. As much as I try to distract myself from the subject, she did sneak into my bedroom at night. There you go. We are secret lovers. Hope no one discovers. See you every day. Secret hideaway. Yeah, this is a classic. Classic DDR song. Nothing. It's just you're really pretty. It isn't often I catch her being bashful, but I think this might finally be one of those times. My moment of victory is brief, though, with Eileen's quick movement towards me taking me all the more off guard. Unable to make sense of the girl suddenly lunging at me, the both of us are sent falling backwards into the soft mattress. It takes a couple of seconds to collect myself and work out what's happened, time seeming to stop as I'm left staring upwards at the pair of emerald eyes above me. I'm pinned, I think. A brief attempt to right myself ends in little more than a couple of weak jerks. Eileen holding my arms to the thick sheets with her body weight. Silence reigns, my vision filled with her face looking downwards. I have no idea what to say as my heart beats wildly in my chest, yet she doesn't say a word. Eileen, what are you... I missed you. How am I supposed to respond to that? Were her face any different, I think it an invitation, but there's a sincerity there that takes me off guard. I wonder how often I've seen her face, or anyone's, from this close. And for so long. I can't help but stare upwards, trying my best to read that face I so often can't. As I do, though, I realize something. She's doing just the same. Maybe she's scared of forcing me to do something I don't want to do, or afraid of getting too close too fast. Maybe she's simply like I am, unused to being looked at this intently. Either way, she isn't leering over me. Eileen's generally unsure what to do next. Whatever the reason, I can't help but smile a little. Did I say something wrong? I was just thinking how you're still the same as ever. What's that supposed to mean? I answer her confusion by lifting my chin a little in invitation. Not that I can move much more. Without any further prompting needed, she presses her lips to mine with a satisfied sigh. It isn't long before our tongues move about, her breath tingling on my face. I squirm about roughly as the atmosphere gets heavier between us, Eileen easily keeping me down. It's a little excited to be playing like this, and she shows no signs of letting up. A shiver runs up my spine as I find her thigh between my legs in my fidgeting about, my heart beginning to race with ideas of this and that. With lips affectionately breaking and meeting, Eileen barely letting me take so much as a breath, I can't help but think back to the first time we did this. Then several sharp thuds against the door ring out. My entire body freezes, my heart nearly jumping out of my chest. The both of us freeze up as I break from our kissing to look over, hoping against hope that the door doesn't creak open. It's getting late, Allison. Why now, of all times? I can only thank my lucky stars that we've been quiet, but being one door handle turned from being seen like this is far too close for comfort. All right, sorry. I'll go to bed soon. That was remarkably more natural than I thought I'd be able to pull off. Thank you. If you need anything, just ask. Sleep well. Thanks. Good night. As her footsteps go down the hallway, the both of us heave a great sigh. The mood's completely gone as the both of us look to each other. I suppose this is one benefit of Eileen having her own apartment. I run my hands through my hair to settle myself down as Eileen sits back on the bed, wisely letting a few minutes go by before trying to slip out of my room. I also miss the living alone. Well, that was annoying. See you tomorrow, I guess. Have a good sleep. With that, she slips off the bed, quietly shuffling across the room before pausing a moment before turning the handle. As I pick myself up to wish her a good night, she curtly turns back. To be honest, I think you look really pretty too. I don't manage to form a reply before she skitters out of the room. Then again, my scarlet cheeks probably did the job for me. Rubbing sleep from my eyes as I slowly drag myself to the living room, a restrained yawn heralds my entrance. I thought I might have trouble getting to sleep in an unfamiliar place, but after everything that happened, I crashed almost immediately. Looks like Eileen's family are early risers, noises from the kitchen presumably being from her parents, while the television blares away just ahead. The fire's crackling would make it quite a cozy scene if not for being interspersed with cartoon voices. Eve sits on the couch as I glance down, already bundled up in her winter outfit like a puffy ball of clothing. Eagerly watching the morning cartoons, her legs swing away as she happily munches on a bowl of brightly colored cereal. I can't help but smile, reminded of my own childhood. The show and the setting might be different, but the innocence is just the same. I forgot what this simple experience felt like. I take a seat beside the oversized hamster, Eve barely acknowledging my presence, before Eileen pops in from the kitchen and calls out to me. Looks like the coffee in her hand hasn't kicked in quite yet. Want any food? There's toast and cereal if you want any. I don't usually eat breakfast. Christ! God, people eat breakfast? What is up with that? God, I don't understand that shit. I wouldn't be functional without eating in the morning. Shrugging in response, the tired Eileen heads back out. Despite settling down to watch Eve's cartoons with her, I can't help but eavesdrop as the conversation between Eileen and her mother can be heard from the other room. Any plans for the day? Was gonna study for school. Real studying, not just drawing. Alright, whatever. Fucking Elizabeth. Cartoon's loud exclamations punctuate the short silence that forms Eileen's reply. Should have known. I've seen your marks from high school. I just want you to do well. Maybe you can have Allison help? She seems to have a good head on her shoulders. She's been helping me with my math already. And here I was worrying about who you might end up with for a girlfriend. You know I can handle myself fine. Why worry? Because I'm your mother. That's why. Eileen doesn't exactly sound buoyed by the comments. Or buoyed. But I have to admit that the praise is nice to hear. It is a bit sad to hear her mother doesn't approve of her pursuing art, though. I wonder how tempered this exchange is, thanks to them keeping things together since I'm around. Son only dad, making the same exact face in the same direction. Morning, you two. Going out, dear? Just swinging into town to grab paper and milk. Wanna come along? Yo, is this guy really reading the newspaper? Good grief. Eve, Allison. We're heading out for a moment. Okay. We're going by your favorite shop, Eve. I'm coming. I'm coming. She drops her almost finished bowl onto the coffee table so hastily that it nearly spills, skittering out to the door with a faint pitter-patter on the carpet. It's amazing how much energy kids have. Eileen's parents give a short farewell as they escort Eve out, the girl racing out straight to the car. To be a child again, filled with excitement for the next car trip or television show. With her family out the door, Eileen watches them drive off before heading over. I shift over a little as she drops onto the couch, setting her coffee down with somewhat more care than her sister's cereal. I give a loud stretch, but rather than being out of tiredness, it's more to calm myself as my heart starts beating in anticipation. We're finally alone for real this time. As I look over to Eileen, it's obvious that she has the same idea as she turns off the television. Wanna pick up where we left off last night? I want to, but isn't it kind of early for this? She has to think that one through. It'll wake us up. I'm not given a chance to respond as she presses her lips to mine. Not that I particularly wanted to argue the fact. This will likely be the last time we can share a moment like this for a good while. The snow makes a satisfying sound as I pat it down, each handful making the sphere before me that little bit larger. It's surprising how much physical work putting a snowman together is, but this is my first time making one this size. Standing out on the front lawn in the cold of early morning, I keep patiently patting away at my creation, slowly but surely building him up. Oh, that marks the... Oh, there you go. I've been wanting to make a snowman for a while now, but between moving, studying, and hanging out with others, there just hasn't been much time. Well, I might have wanted to keep lazing around with Eileen. Her family probably won't take much longer to get back, and she wanted to keep practicing her art. If nothing else, at least we're both a lot more awake now. It's rather nice to be out here, despite the cold, and given some much-needed time to unwind. I think I'm living up to the expectations of Eileen's family, but living in another's home under the gaze of strangers is still stressful. Not that I'm alone out here. The odd squirrel flits about in the distance between the trees, and birds can be heard chirping away from the pines. I wonder if Eileen, for her love of the outdoors, appreciates the sounds of nature around here. Even if you're the only person around, you're never really alone. The air is nice here too. Fresh, with just a hint of pine wafting from the trees. It's only when a car door clangs shut behind me that I realize I've become so distracted with my surroundings. Her father makes idle mention of how little traffic they encountered as they pass into the house, with her mother guessing that the cars must be going in the direction of the city instead. Eve bounces out of the car after them before stopping to spy at what I'm up to. Ah, a snowman. Yep. Never had the time to make one back home. Want to build one too? Yeah. Needing no further prompting, she enthusiastically rushes past me and crouches down, pushing together snow with her tiny gloved hands. The two of us start working away, with her snowman slowly starting to take form next to mine. There's almost a therapeutic feel to it all, relaxing outside as I see the large snowman coming together with each little step. Even Eve seems to have quieted down. That's not a word. Focused wholly on her work. Maybe this is a bit what sculpture is like. It's satisfying to build something with my own hands and see an object form where there was nothing before. Looking over to Eve's snowman as I go, I'm impressed with how quickly she's managed to get something together. Is that really an Australian thing? Quietened? Look, that could be. But what's the deal with Aussies? God. The Great Coffee Tin Debate of 2018. Wow, you must have lots of practice. Oh, really? Wait, so that's a real quietened? Google says it's British. Well, folks, I don't know. Making a bit of a show of pounding the snow into shape with both hands, her entire upper body being put into it. Eileen taught me how to make snowmen. There's a bit of hesitation still, as if reminding herself that she shouldn't talk too much to the strangers suddenly hanging around her sister. Hopefully, the fun of sharing the experience might help distract her. I mean, I can kind of infer that a coffee tin would just be a tin with coffee grounds in it. I don't think coffee tin would be my default phrasing, but I don't know. It's pretty obvious. And I think, I don't know, I'm trying to think I feel like the real mass market coffee, like Folgers, comes in a tin. You know. Hey there, Turret. Folgers is the perfect coffee brand for visual novels. It sounds like you and Eileen are really close. I don't get to play with her much now that she's moved out. I miss her when she goes away, but Mom and Eileen always argue when she's home. You could visit her back in Utah, maybe. I'm sure she'd like the company. Dad says we will, but he's always got work. I want to see her paintings. She was always making them before she went away. Her paintings are really pretty, aren't they? Yeah, but Mom said it's not a real job, so Eileen gets mad. Wow. I really need to know what Elizabeth does. What about Dad? Dad said he thinks the same, but that they shouldn't fight so much over it. Sounds like they don't get along very well. Hey, can you make Eileen happier? I'll certainly do my best. Satisfied with the best answer I could drum up, she goes back to work on her snowman, little hands collecting some more snow to pat on. I might say that, but I don't really know where to begin now that I think about it. She's done a lot for me, but when I think back to when we've been together, all I've been able to do around her is watch as she draws and paints. I'm just getting myself worried over her. As she said, Eileen's perfectly capable of looking after herself. It's not like she needs me to be happy. Trying to stop myself from dwelling, I focus on patting the head of my snowman some more to make it a bit less rectangular. Do you paint too? Not really, I just draw cute things. I draw too. Can I show you my drawings later? Sure, that'd be great. As she beams a grin, I'm glad to finally be making headway with her. I never thought I'd be bonding through messing about in the snow. Oh wait, I just saw something I need to share with people. Wait a second. Elizabeth is not canon. Okay. Have you shown mom and dad? They're always busy, so I can't always show them. My nanny's seen all of them, though. She's nice. A nanny, huh? Suppose you don't get to live this nicely without some sacrifices. I wonder if Eileen was raised by a nanny, too. I wonder if either of them ever really connected with their parents. As we work away on our creations, the door opens once more. Looking around to see who it is, a familiar figure strides up. I do worry about her long boots in the slippery snow, but she doesn't seem bothered. What are you two doing? Making snowmen. You don't say. Well, if you want some lunch instead of freezing out here making snowmen all day, come in from the cold already. But I want to make them better. Eileen studies her work for a moment before reaching over towards me. That double is like 300 lines of code. Well, I hope it was worth it. Too confused to respond, I just stand there as Eileen's hand reaches over and take my scarf in their grip. Unwinding it from my neck, she silently walks over to Eve's snowman and smartly wraps it around what's probably supposed to be the neck. That looks cool. There, he'll be happier now that he's less cold. He'll still be here when you get back, so go and eat something. Your show is starting, you know. Shocked that she might be missing even a minute, she completely drops any attention she had on the snowman and stomps off as quickly as her restricting clothing allows. It's obvious Eileen has Eve wrapped around her little finger. All I'm left to do is stare at Eileen pouting. You can grab your scarf back when Eve gets bored of making them. I was going to use it on my own snowman. I swear, you're worse than her sometimes. The sound of Saturday morning kids shows fills the living room as I walk back in, each hand carefully balancing a bowl of cereal. Eve sits quietly, wholly focused on watching television. While still something of a work in progress, she seems more content to let me hang around now, even if she doesn't engage much. Maybe simply being friendly company is enough for her. Despite being the weekend, Eve's parents are out once again. This time, they're with Eileen to check how her car is going. Of all the ways Eileen's home is different to my own, it's the sheer quiet that most gets me. With few cars around nor people nearby, there's only the odd boisterous bird outside to make noise. I could get used to small town life like this. My spacing out is interrupted as the main door shuts with a loud thud. A familiar figure striding past. Welcome back. How's the car? It's fine. We're heading out once Dad's finished poking at it, by the way. Sure, where are we going? You'll see. Finish your breakfast for now. I'll get your clothes out and pack everything. Isn't this a bit of a rush? I still have sleep in my eyes from waking up, and she's usually a zombie at this time of morning. Still standing around with bowls in my hands, I hold them out and look down, checking that I'm not going crazy, and did actually dress myself this morning. But I'm already dressed. Not for where we're going. Are we going skiing? The quiet morning is only punctuated by the crunch of snow underfoot, the occasional birds chirping, and the jangle of items from our backpacks. Apart from the woman plodding ahead before me and the footprints she leaves behind, all that I can see are pine trees, as much snow on their branches as greenery. Oh, and the puffs of condensation from our breaths. The scenery is nice, at least. I'd hardly expected to be spending today hiking through the forest when she dragged me out of the house, but so far it's been a pleasant way to spend the day. Tired as my legs may be, Eileen's pace doesn't falter. The hiking clothes she lent me hang off my frame, but I suppose that should have been expected given our height difference. They're comfortable though, and most of all warm. Picked a good day for all this. Not exactly warm, but at least it's not bitterly cold. She says this with all the care that one might give when looking out the window of a morning. Eileen really seems to be treating this almost an everyday activity. The fact we need bear spray out here also weighs on my mind. Apparently being black bear country, Eileen simply carries it in stride. And so we keep plodding ahead. On the plus side, the air is nice and fresh up here, the odd huge bird squawking as it flies above us, its calls echoing around the mountains, makes for a nice atmosphere. When we're alone like this, her family feels like the elephant in the room. There's so much I want to talk to her about, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say since she told me not to pry. Wanting to fill the air with something, I end up settling for the mildest of small talk. So, you're experienced at this, huh? Yeah, been for a few hikes around here. Played outside a lot as a kid. Ended up adventuring more and more until I started hiking. With your father, or? No, alone. It's nice to have some time to myself. Without a doubt, Eileen has to be the most solitary person I've ever met. Maybe this explains her abrasiveness towards her parents, but it feels a little unfair for her to take it out on them. Coming out here has been a real help with my art too. But we're running out of breath. I have to stop and take a moment to collect myself. My natural pace is slower than Eileen's, making this hike all the more taxing. How is all this related to art? The more life experiences you have, the more inspiration you have. Hard to create anything of worth while stuck in the four walls of my room. You need input to be able to create output. That's how culture works. Thinking on her words as I turn and start moving once more, Eileen's voice calls out. Watch out, there's a stone there. I look at my feet, quickly stepping around the dangerous trip hazard. If it weren't so big, I'd move it out of the way for future people coming up here. I took this route a lot as a kid. It's probably the easiest way to make it through this area, but you still have to keep an eye out. My breathing heavy, I come to the grim realization that Eileen must have been far more fit when she was young than I am now. Sorry, I'm a total city kid, I guess. You're plenty smart, but you can't just pick up everything from books and internet, you know. I don't really know how to receive that half compliment, half criticism. Is this where Eileen picked up her independence, hiking in the woods alone? It's not like it's bad out here. The air and the sounds and everything are nice. I just can't imagine doing this alone. And not just because I'm barely being pulled along as it is. Do you think maybe we can rest soon? Going by the frown on her face, Eileen is clearly disappointed with my request. We've barely started. There's a resting place I want to reach, but we can't stop every few minutes if we want to get back by sundown. Just how far does she plan to take us? The sound of the river getting louder and louder as we walk, before the two of us finally reach a clearing after a couple of hours or so of hiking. Despite barely being able to walk, I've kept myself from complaining anymore, not wanting Eileen to be disappointed in me again. With the two of us slowing to stop as she looks around, it seems we'll be finally making a pit stop here. Same as it always was. Looks like nobody's messed with it. I'm about to ask what's so significant about this place before she bends down and sweeps some snow off a few large rocks, showing them to be purposefully set in a small circle. Here, have a seat. Setting herself down on a particularly large rock, I quickly follow her lead and sit next to her. Looks like most of the rocks here were carefully set in the ground to make a little campsite, positioned next to the gently flowing river. My legs are happy I get to sit down. Looks like you've come here before. I ended up building this place up into a little base camp over the years. Bears kept taking out anything I brought in or set up, but at least they leave the rocks and ditches alone. Eileen makes herself comfortable as she pulls out a tin and thermos to pour herself some water, while I cup my hands and huff into them to warm up a little. With the two of us settling down to recover for a while, I listen to the sounds around us. It's so different to my own home, with the sounds of cars and crowds replaced by the river's slow trickling and various birds and other wildlife. Somehow, it isn't a surprise that this is the kind of place Eileen would like. As she sits out here thinking to herself, she looks like part of the scenery, just as she did in her quiet art room, at least until Caprice and I made it decidedly less quiet. Then there's me, in my oversized clothes and labored breaths. It's peaceful. Yeah. I thought my apartment was quiet, but it's nothing like this. Your place wasn't quiet at all when I was there. Constant cars, construction, and people walking by. I'm not like you. I've only ever lived in the big city. I was worried about being so far from home, but I think I like it here. Playing with Eve has been fun too. Your family has been really nice to me as well. Eileen's face sours, making me immediately regret adding that last little addendum, or more to the point, that lecturing tone. I want to understand her, but she only gives me small pieces to work with, not enough to puzzle things together. I knew my sudden intrusion into her home would be at least a little awkward, but I've begun to realize Eileen's resistance to bringing me here was about more than that. I've started speaking before even gathering my thoughts. This isn't a great start. Just what is it that makes you want to be away from them so much, to move to a different state? I mean, is it just about your choice of career, or... Can we not bring all that up? I came here exactly to get away from my parents being on my case. And then there was silence. That explains her rush in the morning to organize our hiking trip out here, especially if she was stuck with her parents while they gave her car a spin around town. So what am I even here for? Something up? I thought you brought me out here because you wanted to share it with me. I was really excited to see the kinds of things you did growing up. Her face tells me that she hadn't even considered that reasoning. I feel a little stupid for attaching so much feeling to this now. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a good look if I left you back at the house while I wasted time out here. So this was just stress relief for her. Even now she's not looking at me. Probably more busy thinking things over with regards to her family. I opened my mouth to try and ask her about it, but I can't work out what to say. I'm just here because she feels obligated to invite me. I guess I should have realized she doesn't want me here. She didn't want me at her home at all. I'm the invader. I'm in her space. It's no wonder she treated me like a burden this entire walk. If I was going to get in her way, she
She would have just said so. In the end, the only reason I even know anything about her disagreement with her parents is because Eve told me. Eileen doesn't want me to know. For now, I'll just have to be content as a spectator, looking into her life without getting too involved. I quickly look to her, but rather than acting contrite, she's pointing to my left side with her gaze focused. An insect seems to be lazily crawling around the top of my left hand. The thing about a fingernail length and jet black. I don't recognize it, but it looks harmless enough. To be honest, I couldn't care less about the little beetle right now. You're not worried? Should I be? Well, I mean, most people don't like bugs crawling on them much. I just shrug, leaning down to press the side of my hand to the cold ground while gently persuading the bug to get off with my other hand. After a bit of effort, the little fella gets off my glove and onto the soil, scampering off a little faster for the experience. It won't hurt me. What, just another of your animal friends? I'm not exactly in the mood for being teased. It's the kind of thing you can learn in books or on the internet. Eileen laughs it off, but I'm sure she can tell I'm being snippy. With that, she stands up, putting her thermos and cup back into her backpack before dusting herself off. Ready to keep going then? We've still got the afternoon ahead of us. Yeah, sure. I try to put as much enthusiasm into it as I can muster, but I get the distinct feeling that I'm just along for the ride now. And so she pushes forward without looking back at me. This is always where I am with her. Whether I'm watching Eileen paint or watching her hike, I'm always far behind her with eyes on her back. Stuff! Sale. Sale and stuff. Get your tools, food, stuff, and snacks. With a wave to her father, as his car disappears down the road, Eve takes my hand in hers as we start off down the street. He wants to go to the stuff store. With the weather particularly nice today, fresh stuff. We decide to take a grand tour of the local town. Her pace is thankfully slower than her sister's, with my sore legs needing a rest after the excursion yesterday. I don't think I saw the pine wine. I had wanted to do this with Eileen, but she couldn't be dissuaded from painting in her room. There wasn't much fight in me to argue with her, so that was that. Maybe some time away from her is for the best. Even people who like each other sometimes need a break, I think. The old wooden storefronts hardly loom over us, being mostly just a couple of stories tall, themselves dwarfed by the forested hills behind. Strolling around is a much nicer way to take it in than clutching to Rose in the back of her bike. It's nice here. Kind of boring sometimes, though. Thinking about it, I could see that being the case for a child. The few people out and about today are basically all graying older folk hobbling along as I look around us. Such a pleasant atmosphere has its downsides. My thinking is interrupted by a ping from my pocket. As we stop for a moment, I pluck my phone from my pocket and unlock it. Hi, Allison. How are things going? Just my dad, asking how I'm doing. Oh, awesome. As she stands on tiptoes trying to look over the phone in curiosity, I get an idea. Crouching a little and bringing the phone level with her as she sets herself back down, I try to hold it steady. I'll send them a photo. Stay still. In response, Eve fixes her posture to stand up prim and proper, dusting herself off to look as good as possible. It's charming how seriously she takes this. With a tap and click, the photo is saved and quickly sent on to Dad as a message. Sounds like you're having fun. Yep. How are things there? Back home, safe and sound. Your brothers are driving us nuts. That's what you like to hear. Sounds like things are the same as ever then. See you in a few days. I smile and lock the phone once more, slipping it back where it belongs. I have to stop myself from counting down the days left here. I don't want to start regretting this trip and once again wishing I was home. Hey, what's your family like? Totally different, I'll say that much. I have mom, dad, 3 brothers, and a cat. We all live in the city and it's really busy and noisy every day. They're nice though. It'll be good to be back home. Satisfied with my answer, Eve pulls me forward as we begin our tour in earnest. As she points out this and that though, my thoughts aren't about Eve or my family, but stuck on wanting to be doing this with Eileen. Just as it was, whenever I watched her paint, I feel like I'm watching her life from outside, rather than sharing our time together. I don't doubt that she likes me. She certainly likes me in a physical sense. I like those times too, but I feel like I'm the only one who wants us to become closer in more than just a physical sense. I'm the one who planned our first date. I'm the one who asked to come here. Now I'm wondering if Eileen even wanted any of this. The one time I thought Eileen wanted to share something with me, she was just using me to distract herself from her problems. Problems that she wouldn't talk to me about. All I can do is sigh. What's wrong? Just a shame your sister was busy, that's all. Is Eileen having a good time in college? Why do you ask? Mom said she was worried about Eileen since she moved out, but when Eileen's around, they always argue. Is she really all right? Eve says this with genuine worry in her voice. Eileen's parents really do care about her, even if she doesn't think so sometimes. Eileen's fine. Every day she's making pretty paintings and having fun with friends, and she's helped me a lot since I met her. Eileen's always been fine, now that I think about it. Ever since we met, I've merely watched her as she lived her life. Since getting together, has anything really changed? For all our intimacy, she still treats me the same way she always has, all while relentlessly pursuing her ambition. No, can't think like that. I'm getting myself wound up. Your parents are nice, aren't they? She gives an enthusiastic nod. They think you're nice too, since you hang out with me. At least they think I'm useful, I suppose. I never realized it before, but having a little sister is really fun. Not that I mind my own siblings, but 3 older brothers aren't quite the same company. Let's see some more of town before we have to go back then, okay? Yeah. We're doing a visual novel here. So this is opposite. If you're not sure what's going on, one of the regulars here, Shizacular, was a developer on this visual novel, which came out just last week. And so, or was it earlier this week? What year is it? How long have I been here? But anyway, we're playing the visual novel. Because it's got a nice story. I'm actually really been having, it was last week. It's called First Snow. It is free on Steam and itch, and also you can download it directly. Eileen stands with a glass of water, looking nonplussed at our entrance before noticing the new book held tightly under Eve's arm as she skips over to the living room sofa. You didn't. I can spare that much money. It can be her Christmas present from me. You're enjoying having a little sis, aren't you? She got me. How's the painting going? I need to go down to the city soon for supplies and stuff. No art supply stores around here. Wanna come? So I'm along for the ride as usual. I feel bad for thinking bad thoughts about her, but I can't muster any real want to come along. I would just be baggage while she did her thing. Sorry, still tired from yesterday. Suit yourself. I'll be straight back afterwards. We're having pizza for dinner tonight, by the way. Good. The two of us briefly wonder how to continue conversation, but I can't think of anything to add. With that, she wanders back to her room to keep painting. I feel like I should follow, at least to see how her painting's coming along, but my feet feel stuck. So the premise of the story, it's basically a girl's love story. 2 girls meet in art club in college. Right now, our main character is visiting her now girlfriend's home, her family home, meeting the parents, meeting the little sister. Yes, basically. Left to mill about alone as Eve can be heard happily humming to herself from the sofa, I decide to turn around and head back out the door for some air. The warm afternoon air is starting to fade by now, causing me to push my hands into my pockets to try and save whatever warmth I can. At the rate the weather's going, it's sure going to be a cold Christmas. At least the snowmen are liking it, still standing tall as they guard Eileen's house from the front yard. It's easy to lose sight of when inside, but her house sure is big. Even the yard's pretty spacious, but I suppose living so far from town would help that. A nice house, enough money to live alone on her parents' dime, trips all the way to Germany. Eileen really did get a good start in life compared to me. It annoys me a little that she doesn't seem to see that, especially when it's her parents paying for her apartment. Painting alone in a room, hiking alone in the woods, living alone in an apartment too big for one person. Is that really independence, moving out, away from her parents, but still relying on them for everything? Try as I might to get closer to Eileen, I can't help but feel like I'm just hanging around her. When I'm looking at her back, is it just because she's always ahead of me? Why shouldn't she turn around to look at me? I wonder what I really am to Eileen. The fact that I can't work out an answer makes me restless. As a lump starts to form in my throat, I quickly decide to wander back inside. All I'm doing is making myself feel worse by dwelling on all this. I should make the most of my time here, given I have only a few days left. The park makes for a peaceful sight as we enter, the three of us, slipping between the low wooden barriers as we step from the rough concrete car park onto the snow-covered grass. A bundled-up Eve clings tightly to Eileen, and I with both of her little hands, each of us on either side of her. A bag of old bread swings away at Eileen's other side, destined for the local wildlife. I'll feel like a killjoy to say bread isn't good for them. With the two of us acting as babysitters, thanks to Eileen's parents working, we decided it'd be better to head outside than let her vegetate on the couch watching cartoons all day. Tired from the walk, I take a seat on the swings facing the lake as Eileen mothers around Eve. Tugging at the girl's scarf to pull it tight, Eileen hands over the bag of bread for the ducks before ruffling her hair affectionately. I wonder if that's why Eileen does that to me, now that I think of it. With her sister having finished her fussing... I mean, look, you gotta let them live their lives sometimes. Eve turns and starts for the shore, while Eileen watches her intently. I also don't know if Diego would want me to say that bread is bad. Okay. I was just checking where Diego was. Alright, alright. The bread bank. Bread. We got bread. We got loaves. I don't want all that gluten shit. Be careful around the water, Eve. Okay. The ducks peacefully floating about the lake start flapping about excitedly, quickly realizing that the girl waddling towards them comes bearing food. The girl is food, and the ducks take her away, never to be seen again. Satisfied that Eve isn't going to topple over in her rush and flop in, Eileen wanders back towards me and seats herself on the other swing, all the while keeping a keen eye out. Yeah, I have a sense that this might be the cover art bench right here. We could be walking into something here. I was just concerned about foul play, Shiz, that's all. It looks like nobody else is here at all. It is getting rather cold, but it's more likely people being busy with the holiday sales. I'd think the lake to be frozen over given how still it is, save for the birds floating about. She's cute. Yeah. While Eileen smiles warmly at her sister, I struggle to do the same. I'll soon have to make the call for Rose to pick me up. After all, leaving behind this lovely town. Eileen, Eve, their parents, I'm not sure when I'll get to see them again. Eve clumsily crumbs the bread in her gloved hands, chucking it out into the lake with varying degrees of success. Half the crumbs end up dropping to the ground at her feet, but she doesn't seem to notice. Is something up? You've been kind of quiet over the last couple of days. I really don't get how you're such an upbeat person in general, though. Nor do I get how she's so comfortable being so alone, so apart. The more I'm around her, the more different I feel we are. I just think it's better to see the best in people. I have to admit, I wish I could be like that. Why not try being more friendly in general? Every time I see you, you're closing yourself off to focus on painting or trekking out in the wilderness. The more I get tied up with people, the harder it is to do what I want to do. You should know that better than most with Caprice and all. You shouldn't talk so badly about her all the time. She just wants everyone around her to enjoy themselves. I'm a little taken aback at how firm my tone is, but I'm starting to get tired of how she's always so critical. Oh, I'm nearing the... Okay. I was trying to sense the arc, and I was like... I can imagine an arc that takes me to the end where it would like end when, you know, when Allison, you know, returns home. Like that was my guess, and like I was like, in that case, I can probably finish it tonight. I force myself to keep my eyes on Eileen, despite her own surprise. Maybe it's for the best if I clear the air and talk about this directly. Our concentration is broken by Eve giggling loudly in the distance, the birds enthusiastically crowding around in front of her, and occasionally flapping away at the water. Come on, what's this about? I get the feeling something's on your mind. It feels like we're hanging around each other, but not actually... I pause for a moment to phrase my thoughts correctly, trying not to let emotions cloud my thinking. Eileen, thankfully, patiently waits for me. I guess it feels like I'm along for the ride. It doesn't feel like I'm really there with you. What, here? We've been spending a lot of time together, and we've had some nice time to ourselves, right? Is that all this is to you? As silence reigns, the fact that she even needs to think about this is a bit upsetting. I don't know how relationships are supposed to go, but it feels like we both have very different ideas about it. What am I supposed to say? Is there something more you want from me? I'm just not as clingy as you are. Clingy? I just want to be by your side. You'd have gone off without me the other day if you felt like you could. Yeah, but I was being considerate of your feelings. Is that a problem? It just feels like you'd rather I wasn't there. I like being with you. You know that. But I've been fine on my own all this time too. I don't need you to be there. Even though I always want to spend more time with her, she doesn't even care whether or not I'm there. You have it so together. I've always admired that about you. Maybe you have it too together. Before coming here, I didn't realize how good a life you left behind when you moved away. To drop everything here, including Eve, to pursue art at a community college? The way you talked about your family, I thought they must be really hard on you. They just want what's best. I mean, the apartment you have seems like it wouldn't be cheap for them to cover, for one. Because I don't need that, because I don't hear that enough from them every time I'm around here. Can we just drop this? I like being around you because you don't bring up that stuff. Is that all you want from me? A quiet girlfriend who doesn't ask questions and leaves you alone? Am I into cracking? What do you mean by that? Like pirating software? Because I probably wouldn't discuss that on a Twitch stream. But Yes, I also love crack cocaine, 100%. Oh, okay. Am I gonna ask? I mean, I can do the thing if you want to do it. The what's up, dog? I mean, I can do that. Am I only here to distract you from your parents? You're the one who begged to come. I told you that you could come precisely because I didn't think you'd go sticking your nose into my life. But I want to learn more about you. That's what having a relationship is. That's up to me, not you. This is why you shouldn't have come in the first place. She points in the general direction of her house. I'm used to enduring their crap already. I didn't need you here to make things worse. I'm already hearing from them about how my girlfriend has a better life path than I do. So that's my fault? I think I'm shaking. My eyes are stinging from salt waiting to flood out. Maybe they have a point. Did you think any of this through beyond just escaping them? Is that all our relationship is too? I had my life on track before I even met you. Just because you and Caprice want to come along and try to push me around, it doesn't mean I'm going to derail myself. Is that how she thinks of it? Didn't she agree to the art club? Didn't she agree to date me? Didn't she say she loves me? Hearing the sound of footsteps on the snow, the two of us turn in unison towards Eve, standing a few yards away with an empty bread bag held in her hands. Is something wrong? Eileen looks to me for a long while, her face full of frustration. I don't think either of us really knows what we should say next, even without Eve being around. Settling herself with a long breath, Eileen smiles as she turns back to Eve. I don't think I'll ever get used to how she shifts her entire demeanor like that. Everything's fine. Don't worry. It's about time we headed back home. But I want to keep feeding the ducks. That's going to be hard without any more bread. Come on, it's about time we had some food ourselves. She gives one final glance back before taking Eve's hand in her own and walking on ahead. Yeah, I figured we were due for some sort of relationship squabble or fight, and this kind of seemed like the natural topic for it to go to. So yeah, I was like, all right, well, we need the downer arc. I thought I was someone important to Eileen, but I feel more like I'm just being used to make herself feel better while she lives for her work. I know I have my faults. I'm not good enough at art to share the hobby with her, and I was barely even able to help cook a simple dinner. I'm trying to get better though, and that's thanks in part to her. The image I had of her is starting to become difficult to see. Who was the Eileen I admired? The beautiful girl in the beautiful apartment with the beautiful paintings. This Eileen is someone so at odds with her family. She decided to only care about herself. As I watch her heave, she just heaved Eve, just chucked her. As I watch her leave hand in hand with Eve, she looks ever farther away from me. Maybe she's only so far away because we aren't walking on the same path. One is Dexy's Midnight Runners. There has been a come on Eileen, it's true. The jingle of the old bell above the grocery store door rings out as we step through into the street. There's a slight chill to the air, but that hasn't stopped a good few elderly people from hobbling along the town's streets. Aside from needing to tell Eve she couldn't have this sugary snack or that as we walked around... Pine wine? Oh shit, pine wine. That sounds gross. Eileen went through the shelves with her usual military efficiency as she ticked off her mental checklist. Yesterday's argument between us hasn't helped, but that's not the only reason for Eileen's quietness. She might not even realize it herself, but it's small things like that which remind me of her solitary nature. That ability to tune others out so easily isn't something that comes naturally, at least to me. For want of helping at least a little, I took one of the overstuffed bags as we ended up with to carry myself. Took one of the overstuffed bags we ended up with to carry myself. Thanks for coming and helping carry all this. It's fine. I wanted to see a bit of the town anyway. Can we sit down? I'm tired. It's not that far to the car. Wouldn't hurt to rest a bit, would it? There's a bench right up there. Oh, all right, there you go, finally. Gotta get that cover art going. Taking Eve's side doesn't win me any favors, but Eileen knows she's been overruled. As Eve jumps back onto the seat without any further prompting needed, Eileen and I carefully set our grocery bags on the ground and join her. Her parents sure chose a nice place to live. More a town than a city. The wooden buildings and stone retaining walls give a distinctly old-fashioned, natural look. Even the Christmas decorations are understated, amounting to the occasional sign behind a shop window. The odd person walks to and fro as we sit back, paying us little heed as they go slowly about their day. This should be the easiest occasion possible to make idle chatter with Eileen. As time lingers on, though, the silence between us does also. Eve doesn't notice, of course. Her little legs swing up and down as she lazily watches the odd car go past. As she suddenly brightens up and points ahead, Eileen and I following her gaze. Inside the small ice cream parlor over the road, an old man in a pinstripe uniform turns the sign behind the glass door from closed to open. Don't even think about it. Come on, I've been good. You know what Mom said. You can't just have ice cream whenever you want. Besides, why would you even want ice cream when it's already cold? Eileen's answer doesn't exactly satisfy the young girl. After a moment's consideration, I take to my feet and start heading over. Allison, I was just feeling like getting some ice cream for myself. Might as well get her one while I'm already there, right? Strawberry. 2 strawberry ice creams coming right up. With our sweets quickly devoured, we finish off the last of our cones. They sure serve them large here, but Eve managed to finish hers even quicker than I did. Maybe eating ice cream is one of those skills kids are just better at. Without needing to be asked, Eileen pulls a tissue from a box in the bag and curtly wipes Eve's mouth. I get the feeling she'd enjoy being a mother, given how she fusses about her little sister. You support ice cream while cold? Yeah, I mean, if it's like good ice cream, I feel like ice cream just for the sake of ice cream. Like, I feel like soft serve when cold is like whatever. Like, soft serve is definitely better when it's warm out, but like proper like ice cream, I could do that. As Eileen looks to me, I notice that I'm smiling at her. My face collapses as she opens her mouth to speak, but visibly thinks better of it. As much as I want to make amends, I don't want to apologize if I'm not wrong. With neither of us willing to back down, nor wanting to fight with each other again, yesterday's argument looms over us as the elephant in the room. Focusing my attention on a less stressful topic, my gaze falls to Eve, the two of us sharing a brief smile. I guess it isn't long now, huh? Eve and I just look to each other, but it becomes quickly apparent that the topics reminded Eileen of something I'd been avoiding. You're being extra nice because you're going back, aren't you? As Eve looks to and fro between Eileen and I try my best to hide my disappointment in being found out. I was trying to think of a better way to break it before Eileen handled it so bluntly. It couldn't last forever, but I wanted to keep enjoying these carefree days just a little while longer. Maybe it was selfish of me to not make myself clearer, but... Wait, you're going? Well, I do have my own family I want to spend time with. Despite my best efforts to try and deliver the news as gently as possible, her bottom lip starts to quiver. Both of us panic a little as it becomes clear Eve's about to crack. Eve? Her composure collapses as she reaches over, her face weeping as she stuffs it into my stomach and grabs at my skirt. I don't want you to go, Allison. Stay here. I want you to stay. Ooh, that's a... This has gone about as awfully as it could have done. Glaring at Eileen in frustration, I seem to have made my feelings clear to her as she turns rather sheepish. Yeah, perfectly normal Sprite behavior. As Eve cries into my stomach, I stroke her shuddering head reassuringly, speaking as calmly as I can. Come on now. Do you want me to remember you crying or with a big smile? My gentle suggestion seems to work as Eve pulls back and sniffs hard, her little cheeks still stained red. She doesn't manage to smile, but I'll take what I can. There we go. That's more like the Eve I know. It's been so much fun playing with you, so I wanted to thank you a little something for being such a good girl. You're gonna come back, right? Don't worry, I'll come back. Maybe you could even come to Utah and see my home for yourself. As she clumsily wipes her eyes, I give a big smile. Really? Eileen just scratches the back of her head, trying not to make things worse. We might have our disagreements, but I think we can at least hold things together for Eve's sake. I guess we can try to work something out. Eve looks from Eileen back to me, taking my hand in both of hers with as much strength as her little hands can muster. Promise me, we're gonna play again, right? I just smile as I bring my free hand over both of hers. I promise. At that, she gives that toothy grin that I so like to see. She really is a charming little girl. I guess that settles things then. Now come on, you two. Let's get all this back to the car. A quiet yawn fills the living room as I tiredly wander through, the others in the house being quiet as mice. I really should have just gone to bed early like the others, in hindsight. Restless from the thought of the trip back, I ended up sitting around and watching television long after Eileen left for bed. Try as I might to find her to say goodnight before going to sleep, though, she's nowhere to be seen. Running through the possibilities, I wander up to Eve's room, opening the door as gently as I possibly can. The sight inside makes me feel warm just by looking at them. Eileen sleeps on her side, wrapped around the slumbering Eve, curled up in a ball on top of her bed. Eve must have wanted one last cuddle before tucking in for the night. I just smile as I silently look over them, slumbering peacefully together. Even as I look at them, I wonder if I belong in their world. We have briefly pushed it from our minds, but I think both of us know that the closer we've become, the further apart we've felt. With Eileen's peaceful sleeping face lingering in my mind, I gently close the bedroom door and head slowly back down the stairs. It's going to be hard saying goodbye to Eve. It's been nice to have a little sister, and I think she's enjoying having two older sisters doting over her just as much. Then there's Eileen. As I try to settle myself before going to bed, I idly notice my phone left on the couch. Taking it in hand to bring it with me, I pause. Eileen's left hers on the table some distance away, the moonlight glinting off its screen. My heart stings as I turn on my own and unlock the display. Only the oppressive quiet is here to keep me company as I look down, a heavy weight weighing on me as I ponder. Eileen always did enjoy playing with her new phone. In time, she'll hear what I was too cowardly to say. Thinking of the girl I admired so much, I make the call. It doesn't go answered. She never changed the default voicemail message. as the uncharacteristically cheerful tone asked me to leave a message. My voice is barely a whisper for fear of waking them. When I said that we had a family with our little art club at college, I really did mean it. It might not be much, but it's ours. You are an important part of that. I pause for a moment, my heart stinging as I think of her. Even if it hurts, I know it needs to be said. Maybe I'm the only one who saw it that way. Maybe it was naive of me to think that way. Maybe I've been having the wrong idea all this time. I think my throat tightens. I wipe my eyes on my sleeve. I must have looked pretty stupid. I was so excited to be in love and to have a girlfriend that I pushed and pushed to get into your space, but you didn't let me. You didn't want me to, and even now I can't even muster the courage to tell you this when you're awake. I don't know where things will go from here. I want you to be happy, but I don't know if I can be the person who does that for you. In the end, the anger and frustration I felt at everything is nowhere to be found. There's just an emptiness. I can at least yell and vent to let go of the former, but nothing can fill that hollow feeling. Good night, Eileen. With that, I end the call. Silence returns to the dark room once more. The snowfall is thankfully light as I walk through the city, bags in hand from the day's last-minute shopping downtown. People calmly walk to and fro, the occasional passerby of Eileen's country home, replaced by the crowds of downtown Utah. Briefly distracted by the huge Christmas tree, completed just in time for Christmas Eve, I think back to yesterday's events. When all's said and done, leaving Eileen's family ended up being a calm affair. I gave her parents my thanks for taking care of me at such short notice, and both said they'd be more than happy to have me again. Eve had also reluctantly come to terms with my leaving by then. Then there was the matter of Eileen. Our sullen farewell was short and sweet, but maybe that was because there wasn't much left to say. Thanks to my time in Colorado, a surprising amount of things I needed to buy before heading back to my family slipped my mind. That's traditional Australian slang, yes. Dummy? You're just being mean to Australians now, PMC. Jeez. Of course, my phone starts ringing as soon as I appreciate some time alone to think. Pulling it from my pocket with my free hand, I'm surprised to see it's Dad. Dad, hi. Hi, Allison. Not catching you at a bad time? No, it's fine. Sounds like you're busy. I can barely hear you. Just wandering about downtown to fill some time and do some errands. Still good to be picked up tomorrow morning? Yeah, I'll be ready at the apartment with all my stuff. Sorry again about changing everyone's plans. I told you before, it's fine. Plans already had to change because of your finals. We'll pick you up tomorrow then. It'll be good to see everyone again. Is Mom doing okay? She's better, thankfully. You gave a bit of a shock when you said you weren't coming back for so long. We were all shocked. Seemed like you were having a rough time away from home, so I never expected you to go out of state like that. So they could tell. I feel a little sheepish thinking back. So you had a good trip then? Feel a chill as the last few days rush through my head. Yeah, I did. Once again, Dad can tell just from my voice. It's impossible for me to hide how I'm feeling. Something in me compels me to try anyway. What? I had fun. Well, when you're home, you'll tell us all about it, right? Of course. I'm looking forward to it. I am too. You know that you can tell me anything. I know. Bye, Dad. See you soon. Love you. With that, the call ends. I stare blankly at screen of my phone in Russia. I'll be happy to see my family again, not to mention the warmth and liveliness of home. I have to take a deep breath, a lump in my throat forming from homesickness. I guess that feeling never goes away completely. With the phone already out, I take a moment to glance through the photos I've taken on it. A few from Colorado are most recent, which will be nice to show my parents. As I keep going back though, I stop at a photo taken just before I left for there. The screen shines brightly in the darkness of the night. The photo of everyone gathered in my apartment celebrating the end of semester, making me mull over everything that's happened since I arrived here. It's only been a few months, but my time since starting college has been an adventure already. I've learned so much, found so many friends, and discovered so many kinds of relationships. It's such a different way of life I lead now. The smiling face is all gathered for that one moment in time. It's all thanks to those around me, like them. The phone goes dark once more as I lock it. The precious memory slipped into my pocket once more. The only light to be seen now is that cast by the Christmas tree, occasionally broken by the passing crowds. A strange sense of calm falls over me as I stand in the falling snow, hands slipping into my pockets for warmth. I was alone and afraid. Eileen was the answer to that, I thought. She seemed so cool and collected, managing life by herself. That strength of will was what drew me to her, in hindsight. It was thanks to Eileen, Caprice, and our little club that I was able to cope with being alone. The reason that I'm so at peace with myself isn't that I've finally learned to live without others. It's because I know I have others to help. Maybe I was too clingy, as Eileen said. I just wanted to know her more, even if she was brusque at the best of times. If she wants to retain her solitude so dearly, though, perhaps it's for the best that things go like this. Swallowing the lump in my throat as I push the thoughts aside, I begin to walk once more. It's then that my phone begins to buzz in my pocket. Did Dad forget to say something? Eileen? Why is she calling me now of all times? Should I answer? My phone is shaking in my hand. I pick up the call, but I have no idea what to say. Hello? Allison? Allison, where are you right now? She doesn't allow me so much as get a word out, her voice breathless. I'm back home in Utah. No, I mean, I know. So am I. Can we meet somewhere? Where are you exactly? I'm by the Christmas tree in the city square. Okay. Stay where you are. As the line goes dead, I'm left dumbfounded. Eileen is coming here? Within moments, I hear a car door slam loudly. Surely she wasn't looking around for me. A familiar figure jogs up quickly, as she can in her high boots, her long strides clinking loudly on concrete. I want everyone to pour one out for Fretzel, who I can only assume has been taking a shot every time since he's the one who pointed it out. As she slowly pulls up to a stop, our eyes finally meet. And so we stand in the city square next to that large tree. Between us, only the falling snow. Eileen, why are you... What? You didn't want to see me? I almost respond, but sheer surprise stops me from finding the right words. I end up just hanging my head, not knowing how to respond to her snark in such a situation. With my bags weighing down my arms, I set them down. As I look back up, I see Eileen's quip for what it was. A diversion to hide her feelings. She soon realizes I've caught on, her voice turning soft. I found your voice message. I didn't want to leave things as they were. My face flowers into a blush as I grimace from embarrassment. I knew she'd eventually hear it, but it's still embarrassing to think about. As I think back to everything that happened, I feel a pang of regret. Once again, I feel myself shrinking away from her. But haven't I been a pain? Ever since we met, I've only caused you trouble. Yeah, you sure have. There's that sardonic humor again. I can't remember if I ever found it endearing. Why do you do that? Your first response to everything is to try and brush things off with a quip against someone. Only because everyone sticks their noses into my business. Including me, I guess. I follow that up with a dry laugh, yet Eileen's expression doesn't change. I should have expected that. But I feel my chest tighten in response nevertheless. I already had things figured out for myself. As silence reigns, it feels as though we're just repeating the steps we took until now. Nothing's changed. I'm still me and Eileen is still Eileen. For all I might want to get closer to her, she keeps pushing me away. She came all the way back here to work things out, yet we're still stuck awkwardly trading barbs. Everything we did together, was it only ever a pain to you? I didn't want to say it, but... I steel my heart to try and force out the words, tightly holding my arm to try and steady myself. I suppose this is all over then. No. Her shout startles me, the point where she recoils a little from my reaction. I guess we're both getting flustered. I mean, that's not what I meant. Reminding us that we're not alone, a small child goes running by us as her mother runs after her. The distraction gives Eileen time to reason through all this while I try my best to ignore the stinging of my heart. Everything is so confusing right now. Every day was the same. Living alone in my apartment and working away in that art room. I thought I was fine being alone until you came into my life and messed everything up. When I thought you might really be gone, I realized how lonely I was. I meant what I said earlier. I can forget all my worries around you. I don't have to work hard and worry about being my best. I don't have to prove anything. And I thought you'd understand it. I didn't ever expect you to take my parents' side. I didn't think you'd try to tell me I'm making the wrong choices. My heart sinks. Is that how it looked to her, like I betrayed her? How could I? I've always seen what her parents can't. She's serious about painting. If there's one thing I knew about her, it's that. Why would I want to ruin that world of hers that I found so fascinating? But when I thought I might lose you, I realized you were right. For all I talked big about how you should try new things in college, I was the one pushing everyone away and trying to stay the same. As I try to think of how to explain myself, I realize Eileen's eyes have become moist. It's such a strange sight that I completely lose track of what I was going to say. Eileen? I don't want to lose you, Allison. I want to try again. Moments pass as I think over her words, trying to sift through my emotions. She looks so different now. Her proud stature, somehow smaller and more fragile. She's scared. Seeing her in this state puts me on the brink of tears as well. I know my answer already, given how seeing her like this affects me. I only ever wanted to be the person closest to you. Why would I want to ruin that world of yours when it's what brought us together? Let's try again, Eileen. Without warning, she pulls me into an embrace, arms wrapped tightly around me. My brain short circuits as she begins to weep, completely unable to handle the situation. I have no idea what to say as she clutches me tightly to her shuddering body, my own composure barely holding as my arms slowly raise and come around her back. Oh, I see now. Eileen's finally cracked under the pressure. That wall she carefully built up over so many years, finally crumbling down at once. I hold her tightly to me as she cries, trying my best to comfort her. She's here and in my arms. This vulnerable and honest girl is for only me to see, my own eyes barely staying dry. This Eileen is one I've never seen, but she's the Eileen I have fallen for all over again. Thank you, Allison. I feel a lump in my throat as I stroke her hair, trying my best to soothe her. I love you, Allison. I love you. Holding her close as her words are muffled in my shoulder, I close my eyes and savor the feeling of her against me. Eileen loves me. This feeling, this warmth throughout my entire body as I hear those words. I guess I really am in love with this hopeless girl. And I love you. Let's do this together. We're such different people with wildly different backgrounds and worlds of our own. As long as the two of us can let each other in, though, we can build a life together. Side by side, we can start here. It's okay, Eileen. Welcome home. Achievement unlocked. First snow. Woo! Cute. Shiz. I think I know who that is. Maybe. The notorious Shiz. Cyber shoujo, a term I'm sure that has never been in VN credits before. Oh, there's a small post credit scene. Okay, I will let it roll. Art club. A true demon, a genuine terror. And thanks to you. Fine fiend. Bloop. Wait, is this the post-credit scene, or do I need to just wait for it to play out? Or do I need to click now? I don't want to ruin post-credits magic. I need to click. Okay. All right, just making sure. I don't want to, like, you know, it's like an Easter egg.
This is so exciting, Haley.
Uh-huh.
It's a long time coming, too. Do you know if Millie knows yet?
I haven't talked to her since this morning.
Ooh, I can't wait to see her reaction. I'm gonna say something as soon as she gets home.
Don't you think maybe she should hear it from them?
Aw, but I really want to tell her.
I get it. But, you know...
Millie!
Hello. Got some stuff.
Welcome back. Took a while.
There's so many people out there today.
Guess it's the post-holiday rush.
That's not...
Millie, have you heard the news?
I was at my dad's shop half the day.
And?
And what?
Car trouble again?
Unfortunately.
Maybe it's time for a new one.
That's what Dad said too. He even offered to help pay for it.
You don't sound too thrilled.
But what would you do with this one? Trash it?
Well, sell it, probably.
If it still functions.
I don't want to, though.
Yeah, you can't!
Why not?
I'd rather not accept something like that from him. He's already given me so much.
And you can't just abandon it!
Sure you can. Just leave it on the side of the road.
Wow, Haley, what the hell?
That car is like family.
As I said, if I was upgrading, I'd at least try to sell it.
Hold on. Let's go back to what Caprice said.
Yeah! Listen, you've had that car since high school. Think of all the places it's taken us.
We have spent quite a bit of time in that car. And besides,
It's like family?
Dad and I worked on it together a lot. I'm kind of attached to the little thing.
Exactly.
I know the feeling, but you can't hold on to everything forever.
I know.
I guess.
While we're on the topic, maybe some other people here should think about getting their licenses.
I'm a supporter of public transit, actually.
Yes, that! Me too!
Oh, really? Then you won't mind taking the tram from now on?
We like riding in your car, though.
It's fun going together.
So much for that. At least consider it. It'd be good for the both of you. Especially you, Caprice. I know you're getting your new club members to drive you around places now.
Hey, they want to go just as much as me.
Oh, really? Did they say that?
More or less. Plus, I've helped them out too, you know. Thanks to me, love is blooming in the art room.
How much of that was you?
50. No, at least 60%.
Really? Only 60?
Please, just promise me. As much as I love you two, I won't always be there for you to rely on.
You're not going anywhere, are you?
Don't worry. We promise. Right, Caprice?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I won't be going anywhere anytime soon. After all, I suppose you'll still be needing rides to class this semester.
It's almost here. I'm getting excited.
I'm not really.
I've got a full slate of classes. Plus, there's a club to run.
I'm gonna recruit so many more members. At least double the size.
I don't even want to think about it right now. Are you two hungry?
Starving.
You gonna cook, Millie?
Oh. Ugh.
Not it.
What about the food you just bought?
Today was exhausting. How about you, Haley?
Let's just order something.
These three are real accomplished.
Why don't we go out somewhere? Take the car together?
Weren't you just saying there's a lot of people out?
Yes, but it's nice out too.
Oh, yeah. So, about that news.
Let's talk about it over dinner.
Okay, you drive. I call shotgun.
I'm the only one who can drive.
And we're very appreciative.
I'm looking forward to removing my tire chains. It's a little warmer today, so the snow is starting to let up.
Finally.
It's about time.
So this is supposed to be a prequel to some other work that doesn't exist yet. I guess centers on these clowns would be my guess, but okay. Aw, they're on the balcony together. Cute. They're very precious characters. I mean, I don't know. Caprice seems like a lot of trouble. Haley seems a bit lazy. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, the guest star? Yeah, we can do that real quick. Gallery, guest star. Dun, 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 dun. Got him. All right, folks. I think that is going to be it for me. I'm a little past my usual